out of that. Now, we've got to get on with the intros because we're not too far away from the 140, the matron as well. Great that the Irish racing authorities have moved these races forward from their traditional slots so we can fit them in to you. 2:45, of course, the Irish Champion Stakes. And it's a classic weekend. Doncaster, St Leger time. Are you with or against Hurricane Lane? Let us know. Who joins me then? Dave Orton on this Saturday, as promised. Wow, one of two assistant trainers on the panel this week. Adam Ryan joins us. Adam, come down. Now, Adam, this is going to be an exciting afternoon for you and us, is that right?
Yeah, obviously first time here. Delighted to be here. Some great racing on offer, and we've got a few runners as well to keep an eye on. So really looking forward to it.
It was some Saturday last week, wasn't it? Of course, everyone blaming you for the Starman not quite reaching the moon, of course, because Emiratiana, second in the Nunthorpe, takes it out with the Sprint Cup. Absolutely delighted. We make that between us. This is not the first time we've done this in this studio, and I forgot 3 of Adam's Group 1s. You and your dad, Kevin, of course, have now had roughly around about 13 Group 1 winners, haven't you, individually?
Yeah, well, 13 and I think about 9 individual. So.
Oh, okay. See, I got it wrong again.
Yeah. So
it's a good start.
It was a great weekend. Great for the team and everything, and. It was great to see him back to his best.
Yeah, we'll be getting all the words on Adam and the Ryan Stables runners. There's 7 they were due to have, a couple of non-runners, because it has rained, of course, yesterday at Doncaster. Beautiful surface at Leopardstown in Ireland, and we're going to Chester as well. Round the dinner plate we go on the Rudy. Absolutely love it there. Who else is on the panel? The assistant betting editor of the Racing Post, Graeme Rodway, joins us. Rodders, how are we, my old son?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Dave.
Great. You had a couple last night, didn't you? You've been a busy boy this week. You've had a couple last night. You came in ambling into the office, nice and sluggish. You went to the famous cafe where we warm up traditionally with Paul Keeley and people like that for this show. Solo!
Yeah, I did need that this morning. It's been
cut a sad figure, did you?
Yeah, it's been a mad morning this morning. I didn't actually have too many last night. It was just a nice, gentle session, but it was nice. Yeah, it was a good night.
There you are.
It's really busy in town at the moment, Dave.
It's buzzing, absolutely. We're in the capital, of course, filming. Let us know wherever you are out there, where you're watching the racing today. How are you watching the show? We love to hear it. Get your socials built up. Any questions for Adam Ryan? Not the only assistant trainer we have on the show. Trading for Betfair today, breaking new ground, the first time since the debut of this show in March 2020. We've got a 4th man on the panel in the studio. This was how it was supposed to go pre-pandemic. James Millman, keeping it brief for Betfair today.
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm the new Betfair Barry for the afternoon.
Whoever knew?
I've been usurped by a better trainers representative in the studio. Graeme Rodway said you don't need to train him anyway. They just go up the hill solo. So yes, I've been shifted into the trading desk.
You are on great form as well, though, man. And winning at Donny yesterday, best ever year, is it? You're certainly on track for it, aren't you?
Yeah, well, Sergeant Cecil years, and we had that one Group 1 winner. That was
well reminded. We've got 2 Group 1 winning assistant trainers
the optimum time. But yeah, no, it's going well. 34 winners on the board, so not bad.
Abel Kane yesterday, of course, with Oshie Murphy. Great strike rate as well. Yeah, the horses are running brilliantly. So James will be doing the trading. We know you love him out there as an analyst and a punter. He's got some real big picks for us today. Shall we look at the market then? If you're new to the show, there is the exchange. Look on the screen. Where am I going? There you are. This way, I never know which way it is. There it is. It's there. There's the live market for you. All updated. You see it in play. When it goes 101, that means they're usually over the line. Usually, not always. Will we see some carnage today? We've got the Portland at 145 kicking us off at Donny as well. And it's going to get rough at Chester, isn't it? But this is Group 1. This is the fillies' time. And James, take it away. We've got a hot pot. It's a classic winner.
Yeah, the market's all about Mother Earth for the 140 here at Leopardstown. 2.38 currently on the exchanges. And they don't really know what to put in as second favourite, to be honest. Pearls Galore was pretty solid early on this morning. She's now 9.8, but the Ed Walker Raider is actually in at 10, so only 0.2 of a point separating those two. And you said Champs-Élysées might be a bit weak. Actually come in a little bit, now 13s along with Pretty Gorgeous.
Last year's winner, of course, for Johnny Murtagh, who's got Ottoman Emperor, of course, 335. That'll be our final race for you this afternoon. Right, so what's the trade going to be? The first of the day for Betfair.
I'm going to keep it simple, keep it brief. 50 quid, Mother Earth, try and get us off to a winning start. She's just a bit bomb-proof, really, isn't she? She always runs a race. I didn't know what to put up against her. They're all a little bit of a muchness. We've got some progressive fillies coming through, but I think she's going to be very, very hard to beat. So Mother Earth, the opening selection for the day.
Yeah, drawn low around Leopardstown, not a bad thing. Just one winning favourite of this in the last 10 years as the horse make their way down to the famous start there in Dublin. That was Legatissimo, of course, in the famous Tabor colours for David Watchman 2015. You do need to take a flyer occasionally in this race. And some of these horses, you need a bit of imagination to see it. Now, this is what we get, you see, with a Group 1 winning stable, James. Headed
I'm
He's got
afraid
his
that,
notes,
yeah.
look, on headed paper. Can you see that? Kevin Ryan, racehorse trader. What's it? How are you taking notes?
Get scrap. But yeah, no headed paper for us, I'm afraid.
No, so Adam.
You've got to make an effort when you're coming down here.
You have
know.
definitely done that, and your appearance, you're happy with that today because Natalie Green sat in that seat last week. She gave you some pelters.
Well, I was just making sure, I was wondering where the intervals were,
So you could check your hair.
According to Natalie, that's what it's like, so.
Oh, yes, we managed to get him away from the mirror. Natalie Green, of course, up at Doncaster today. So what's going to win this, the matron? What have you put up, Adam?
Listen, you can't go far wrong with the favourite. Her form's there. She's the best filly in the race. Goes on any ground, drawn well. I think, listen, if she runs up to form, she wins. You're probably trying to find one to chase her home.
Are you a bit surprised that they're talking about going down under with this filly to Sydney for the Everest down there, despite the fact it's worth bundles? We're talking about US Navy flag, aren't we? It was the last horse they tried to do it himself. A very good horse, July Cup winner, but she's not the obvious sprinter, is she? Are they suggesting that this is as far as she wants to go, maybe?
Possibly, but I remember when US Navy flag went down there, it was bottomless ground that time. So, it did turn into a bit of a slog. So, if they think she's got the speed for it and on a test, then why not,
Taking a classic winner down to Australia, then Mother Earth. James Millman likes it. Adam Ryan, listen, it's great to have Adam on the show. He can talk a good game, let me tell you, but he really, really knows his onions about his racing. And, of course, we've got plenty of fancied Ryan runners coming up for you this afternoon as well. Right, now I'm slightly worried about you today, G-Rod, because you're usually sitting on the end and you're doing a bit of trading with Barry on Skype or something like that. Now, we're obviously paying you well because you've got a new phone. You had to get Adam's advice on how to turn it on to silent, but you're just relying on this new model that you have. Are you going to be all right this afternoon, sure?
Yeah, I think I'll be all right. Yeah, I've got it drummed into my head this weekend, Dave. It's a really busy weekend, and I've covered most of the races in one way or another for the Racing Post. So I was like a jack of all trades yesterday.
You're obviously being a bit confident about this because you're just relying on your phone.
Well, yeah, yesterday, I obviously wrote the scissors, but I think I did a bit of trends, I did a bit of something else.
You did feature shows.
I did podcast, I did virtually everything yesterday. It was almost like the Rodway Post yesterday.
What? Brilliant, the Rodway Post on Planet Graham, that makes a lot of sense. Shall I throw one into the mix here? Pretty Gorgeous, who has been anything but that really this year. But I think there are reasons totally behind Pearls Galore, who takes her chance to win that Tipperary race last time. She got absolutely no ride whatsoever. They just went to the back. This is a horse that needs at least a mile. Unlike Mother Earth, I think this one, if they just change tactics slightly, please, Joseph O'Brien out there and Shane Cross, I think a lot of people, James, put her on the scrap heap after that.
It's the not trained on angle that Graeme Rodway doesn't believe in once again.
This is a 2-year-old to a 3-year-old.
Isabella Giles angle. Still going with that one?
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's a race in there.
Sometime soon.
That's a stretch. But Pretty Gorgeous, favourite for the Guineas at the start of the year. It hasn't gone on. Am I completely mad, or is that a Rodway theory that
I think you're probably completely mad. But when you think about it, if you'd said at the start of last season, Show and Pretty Gorgeous would be the sort of prices they are to beat the likes of Mother Earth, you wouldn't believe it, because Pretty Gorgeous was pretty much the best 2-year-old filly around, wasn't she? So
let's get a word from Adam on this. Plenty of 2-year-olds. The Ryan Yard, second in the Jim Crack, of course, this year with Kiss the Sub. You've got, we know you for your 2-year-olds, right? Yeah. You crack 2-year-olds. We've got a couple that we want to get out of Adam a little bit later on as well, as they go in for the matron. Do horses disappoint from 2 to 3 physically? And it is a thing, obviously.
They can do it, and they can surprise you as well. You've got a horse there, comes back after the winter break, and it's just, it's turned inside out. So there's no laws in this game, So it can happen, but it would be no surprise to see a filly like this come back to her best. And say with Shale, with no surprise whatsoever.
She didn't look small, Pretty Gorgeous, is what I'm trying to get at. And Shale as well. Shale, I think, last time had her chance. They're going with cheap pieces on, aren't they, the bottom one? But if they just, please, go a little bit handier.
I've got to butt in, Dave, because I know that everyone watching will be hanging on what I'm going to tip in this race, and I haven't given it yet. Acanella will win this race, I think, for Joe Lyons. He's absolutely flying, Joe. He's won the first race there. This horse was a hugely improved last time out. £18 improvement on her previous best last time.
18.5 on the exchanges as well.
I don't know. I don't see that, but she's in 4 with Colin Keane on, and I'm sure you get a run for your money. Joe Lyons, okay, they're about to go off. We'll get a word on him after this. Can he do the quick double? Good luck wherever you're playing then. It's a bonus for you. It's the 140. Don't forget the Portland is coming up very quickly after this. The first of, 3 or 4 races at Doncaster we're giving you on this superb 4th day of the St Ledger meeting. All right, we are away and running then. And Acanella That's G's pick right out the back at the minute. I'm looking for Pretty Gorgeous. Oh, surprise, surprise. They're doing what they normally do with her. She is being held up for some crazy reason. All right, Epona plays in the middle as well, but taking a lot on up front, it's Shale, the aforementioned, needs to bounce back. First time cheap pieces today. Maybe Gavin Ryan can wake her up from the front. In second at the moment, looking down, that's Flirting Bridge, one of the big outsiders. It's Henry de Bromhead, but 150 to 1. Looking for things that are settled. Now, James, where is Mother Earth at the minute? In about fifth behind Pearls Galore.
Exchanges are happy where she is. She's now 2.2, having been 2.5 at the off.
Who's catching your eye, Adam Ryan?
I think Ryan's got a perfect sit there. I think, to be fair, Pearls Galore, travelling well. Potentially got the chance of first run on the favourite if good enough.
She's very uncomplicated, Pearls Galore, of course, and Paddy Sumi.
He's in absolute position Z on my one, Dave. I know what he's doing back there. It's
They've
right
dropped
mess.
the anchor, which you don't want to see if you're on the likes of Pretty Gorgeous and Acanella as well. Dream Loper right at the back, Tom Segal price-wise. Now they're ramping it up into the home straight. James, who does the market want to know?
Market still Mother Earth. Even money now as they enter the home straight.
Here she goes then. You can see live on the market screen when she go 101. Just needs a run, Ryan. Is he going to get it? It's getting a bit tight now. Coming down the outside. What's this on the outside in the colours? Empress Josephine. There's a name. But it's Pearls Galore. Looks like she's in. I'll tell you what, this is a good filly, isn't it? Ryan's found all sorts of trouble. We can hear all sorts of groaning in the studio. It's No Speak Alexander. It's going to hang on. It looks like Jesse Harrington's runner has. Wow. Shane Foley takes the first Group 1 of the weekend. No Speak Alexander, absolute flop last time, always in the right place from stall 3. We'll pick the bones out of it, but James, tell us about the story of the market. She went low then, the Fav.
Yeah, she went pretty low, just got absolutely chopped off. No Speak Alexander only went to a high of 36 through the run. Mother Earth, yeah, not massively low to be honest, 1.75, but interference was absolutely costly.
Yeah, was anyone with that out there? Of course, they met, didn't they, when Mother Earth, of course, won in France. No Speak Alexander hasn't been seen with that. And if you look at the Racing Post in-running comment that day, in the Rothschild, basically, when Mother Earth toughed it out, this got absolutely no run whatsoever. It's the racing game, isn't it, Adam? This time, the one with the best run comes out on top. Are you groaning a little bit about the ride there?
No, not at all. I think the problem is, the outsider there, he's just come back into Ryan, who's had to switch outside, and then I think from there...
She's finished on the bridle, isn't she, pretty much?
Listen, fair play to the winner. I think Shay's getting a fantastic ride. Delighted for the owner as well, Nola Callahan, who's had a horse with us before.
Right.
And for Jesse Harrington.
Yes, of course.
Fantastic.
Of course.
But the favourite was very unlucky, I think.
Akin to glass slippers colours, of course, the famous blue and white. All right, then the Callahans then take it. Stall 3, Leopardstown kept it simple. Pearls Galore proves herself a top-class filly. Mother Earth in third. Empress Josephine bouncing back.
Steward's Inquiry, what a surprise, Dave. Steward's Inquiry, that's got to be the messiest race run all day, hasn't it?
Well, we got the Portland coming up in 2 minutes' time.
I mean, it was a rough old race.
You are already deflated. You've come in, you've had a bit of a hangover this morning.
Yeah.
You were moaning about having to take care of your kids and all that sort of thing solo. Come on, we need to perk you up, G.
It was absolute rubbish, wasn't it, that?
I mean that was
a mess.
That was no run for your money. Don't even talk about Pretty Gorgeous. Why? I mean, what's the point in running a horse and just...
Well, you had to be in the gearbox there, didn't you? But, I mean, I'd say... Apart from really opponent players and Empress Josephine, majority of they've been up there, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yes, they're finishing now, but probably too much work.
Should Ryan Moore not get criticised here? Should he not?
If anyone's going to do it,
should he not find a gap?
Look at the outsider here. It falls right on. It's weakening away. And Shane's keeping it in.
Oh, it's definitely kept him in. All right, let's have a look at this then. Let's go to our brief in the studio. James Millman.
Yeah, there was never really a gap for Ryan to get through, but now it's shifted over.
Ooh, has it cost her?
I think it's cost Mother Earth, but the issue will be
Pearls Galore is obviously finished third.
Going to be your promoted winner if
Pearls Galore then, Paddy Toomey could be the recipient of luck in the stewards room. We will keep tabs on that, don't worry. We're an hour away from the Irish Champion Stakes. Just 4 runners. Who wins it? Are you with St Mark's Basilica? Will he go on the ground? He has had an absence as well. Are you with Tanawa? or perhaps indeed you're giving Poetic Flair another chance, or even with Patrick Sarsfield, the right outsider. Who's going to lead? You can let us know. Get involved live and interactive here on RP Live this sizzling Saturday. Delighted to be with you. We must go to the Town Moor though, and Doncaster. It's been a great week there, and it is the Portland. And I guess we ought to give the floor straight away to Adam Ryan before we go to James Millman, because we have the first run of the day here. It's digital, and I'm pretty sure you're going to tell us he's a big price here, around about 14s.
Yeah, listen, the horse doesn't know how to run a bad race, and to be fair now, his last 2 runs, he's really matured and learned how to race, settling nicely. I think the trip would be ideal for him. He enjoys a bit of cutting the ground, so the only concern is, the draw, but, he's straightforward, so.
But is he a Group 1 horse?
Is he a Group 1 horse?
Yeah.
He's a good horse. It's a long shout from there, but.
What do you mean, is he a Group 1 horse? He's rated 90.
Only one 3-year-old has won this race in the last
Oxted.
10 years, and that was Oxted.
All right,
So
so you're suggesting you need to be...
It's a tough ask for a 3-year-old.
It is, but it's a very specialist trip, this,
This would have been the plan for a little while, I'd imagine. 5.5 furlongs almost perfect for him. Is it soft ground?
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, we think it will be on the easy side of the ground. We'll let G pick the bones out of it. But let's go to the Betfair Trader of the day. It is James Millman today, if you're just joining us. Mother Earth, unlucky trade in the first. What's it going to be in the Portland?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Sportsbook actually for the Portland, because 6 places on the Sportsbook for this contest. And when the deal was done for Roger Teal, a horse who has been a little bit unlucky, I think, at York. John on the wrong side, beaten 4.5 lengths by Copper
Is
Knights.
he a Group 1 horse, though, James? That's the question.
It's like an echo in my ear.
So he is the other 3-year-old in the race, of
He's
course.
trained by Roger Teal, who trained Oxted.
Yeah, I did
so
make
I'll
that
throw
point.
that one at you instead.
There you go.
He might well be.
He might well be.
You never know.
Might be.
Potentially not a group horse, but...
Let's get the trade on then, James. This is the all-important bit.
Yeah, he's just getting the old Sportsbook up if the internet will let me.
Of course, James is basically playing for Charity Day. We still haven't decided the September charity, of course. Let us know
13
if
to
you've got
2
any ideas
currently.
about
6 places. I'd be very surprised if he isn't in the 3. So in the 6,
When the deal is done.
£25 each way on this one, 6 places.
that. And so we're not just giving you the exchange, we are giving you the sportsbook as well, of course. All right. G, Mondamedge. We're both going for this. Paul Keeley has basically fallen off a cliff with this horse. We've waited until it's won and we're jumping on.
Yeah, we love him, don't we?
Yeah.
He's a nutcase, but he's a talented nutcase.
He's always going to be an awesome horse.
Yeah,
He'll be livid if he's hearing this.
Sometimes these weird nutcase horses, when they get their head in front, gives them a bit of a boost.
This could really suit him though, Mondamedge. You were saying he's had a long season, Adam, as well. That would be your worry about him, would it?
It would be, but it could be a nice confidence booster from last time. Once these horses get the head in front, it's easy to see him getting on a roll.
It's crazy because a lot of people in racing say it will boost the confidence, and then you've got laymen out there who don't really understand horse racing too much. Okay, how does a horse know that it's, but they get, I don't know, do they get treated differently? Was it?
James, you'll know, if a horse is constantly seeing the back of others and not learning to go past them, then they get used to that,
All right,
So that's the
okay.
confidence.
They can be boosted though. I agree with it as well. A sure welcome going potty the outside
That's
of the
not
lot
rare
from
for
stall
him
3.
either.
So we're going to have, I'll tell you what, right next to Digital as well, who actually, Adam, is drawn right on the
Oh,
inside.
there's another one as well in stall 9 there.
Oh, it's all kicking off a little bit
right
then. These older sprinters should go in nice and easy, shouldn't they?
Hurricane Ivor.
Okay, well, we haven't not even mentioned Hurricane Ivor, who, if ever a horse looks like he wants 5.5 furlongs, it's Tom Marquand, isn't it? And William Aggis's runner. But he's going a bit potty as well. You're basically hoping for pace wherever the pace is. If you've gone a closer, you want a nice traveller, that's it, isn't it? With the pace maps and all that sort of thing. We think it's high in this race.
Yeah, Copper Knight from 22 is going to be leading.
You're hoping that Premier
side.
Power goes on really, Adam, aren't you?
Yeah, he can run a bit free, so, hopefully they let him bowl along.
Yeah.
And just let Digital.
Here we go.
All right, and Digital has absolutely bounded out. He's going to do it his own way, isn't he? And he goes off. Mbor is going to keep you company. Mr. Wagyu, unsurprisingly, keeping it tasty down the middle. So they're not wanting the near side or the far side, rather. It's the middle of the track. This is the Portland, one of the great sprint handicaps of the year. Boundless Power for Tom Segal. Really well backed Mick Appleby's runner. He's danced some of the big dances without much luck. He's in third. Hurricane Ivor tracking him on the far side. Intrinsic Bond, who loves this course, he's up there as well. Looking for Mondamedge. G, where is he?
He's nutcasing it. He's going absolutely nuts in the middle of the track.
7.6.
He's pulling the true rider's arms out. Hopefully he's not taking too much out of himself.
Last year's winner, Stone of Destiny, is tracking him under SDS D'Souza. Where's Premier Power then? He's coming down the near side. Look at this on the near side, Beyond Equal. He's on the bridle. You can see the market there in front of you. Digital giving his all on the far side. He's just marooned, isn't he? Here comes Intrinsic Bond. What's Mondamedge got? Not today. Here comes When the Deal is Done. This could be the one. Could this it's been a 3-year-old, or will it be
Boundless
Boundless
Power?
Power? Let's have a look. Hurricane Ivor on the far side. Looks like the favourite's going to take out the Portland of 2021. Finally gets his day in the sun. He didn't make it for some of the dances. This was the one they've come at. Caught the eye at York, didn't he? A couple back. Over the top of him late. Tom Marcon, Tom the Palm as they called him. Top weight, favourite in the bag. When did the market know James Millman?
Not to the final furlong. Hit a high of 23. Did Hurricane Ivor. Bear in mind he went off a Betfair SP of 7.89. When the deal is done, who I thought might well win, hit 2.5 in the run. Didn't see out the 5.5. Probably be dropping him back to 5.
Yes, absolutely. No Oxford then for Roger Till, but a talented horse. Bit of a messy race, G, wasn't it? Plenty of eyes drawn before we get. We'll let Adam gather his digital thoughts before we go to him on that one. So favourite beats second favourite, basically.
Yeah, this was the horse that was very unlucky in that weird race at Sandown when there was a dead heat. But he actually won, didn't he? I think.
Yes.
But they got it wrong.
Phoenix Star. They gave a dead heat. Do you remember? And he actually had his head in
because
front
of
of
the
the line.
stewards messed up somehow. I can't remember what it was.
There was a stewards into the stewards, basically, wasn't
yeah,
there?
there was. Remember that time when they mistook the winning post Sandown? That
Listen, that's Sandown. Don't bash them with a stick as well, man.
No, he's a good horse, isn't he? And he's probably going to be up to group company because he's won that off top weight.
Yeah, absolutely. A mark of 102, basically. Let's see if he's in at Ayr next week, is he? I mean, everything's in at Ayr next week.
I'd
It's the Ayr
imagine
Gold
so.
Cup this time next Saturday. He is in there. So a penalty will help his... Well, in fact, he ought to get a run. We'll see if he goes there. Don't forget, we'll get the quotes all in the members section, all that sort of thing. Digital. You have to get used to this on this show. Listen, they're not all going to win. He basically... He was just in the wrong place, wasn't he? Really?
Stuck out on a wing, the race on his own there. I know the first and second have come there, but obviously they've got the cover. It'd be interesting to see what Tom says. He's run okay, but I think being out there on his own sort of has put pay to him,
And it is tough for a 3-year-old, isn't it? So Digital, not quite there. You would have had Just Another Bottle, of course, who won the Great St Wilfrid. Loads of cheers on this show there were for that. A couple of weeks back, he just wasn't quite himself this morning.
No, wasn't quite himself. Just a little bit of a temperature. So obviously you can't come to these big meetings if you're not 100%. So
no, that was a whirlwind start to Racing Post Live, wasn't it? 2 races, quick. We've got a little bit of a breather before we go to the 2 o'clock at Chester. Believe it or not, there is a Ryan runner in that as well. Hurricane Ivor then. I suppose Count D'Orsay was the eye catcher, but he has done that already this season as well. Let's hear from you out there. Let us know you're watching. Of course, you can do so on YouTube, the chat bar up there as well, Facebook Live as well. Get involved. Anything on Twitter, hashtag RP Live. All right, Dave Orton sizzling along. Mondamedge, let's move on from Mondamedge.
Today was a disappointing Mondamedge.
I'll tell you what, Kills will be laughing at us, G, won't he now? He'll be thinking
yeah,
those poor unsuspecting fools in the studio would have put it up.
He just went completely nutcased it again.
Do you think it was just, I don't know, it was weird, wasn't it? Maybe looked like
he pulled like a nutcase.
Did the run come too
Didn't get
quickly?
home, so...
Yeah, might have come too quick
I
for him.
don't know, he's just a funny horse, isn't he?
That's the Portland then done. Used to be run on the Friday, now made a Saturday feature race as well. 3 days they're talking about for the Guineas meeting as well. Quite a bit of news this week, wasn't there? Let us know what you think about that. Who's the nap of the weekend? Are you keeping it simple? Are you looking at these fads? James, I spoke to you and I said, here you are, trading away for Betfair, and you said, there's so many attractive looking favourites, aren't there?
Yeah, and the first one bombed. Mother and I think perhaps probably the best horse in the race, but we see it's not always that simple, flat racing. And yeah, I think St Mark's Basilica, I can't really see him getting beat, to be honest.
Ground is the issue, guys, with him, isn't it? Surely. It's basically all his good form is on ground with a bit of dig in it.
Oh, St Mark's Basilica? Yeah. Oh, I don't think the ground will be a problem.
Why not?
Because he's just fast, isn't he? He's a fast horse. When you see him.
Is it by
he's got a sharp
just coincidence then that they've kept him to soft ground racing?
They're not deliberately targeted soft ground.
How do you know that? He went to France twice. He didn't come for our Guineas, did he?
We don't know that, but the Eclipse, they would have run whatever.
Sayuni?
So it makes sense to go to it makes sense to go to France for the French breeders when he becomes a stallion as well.
See, this is why we've got a Group 1 winning assistant trainer on the show, James. This is what we get with Adam Ryan, you see.
Just get Ross Bridie back in that chair. I had a much better shift when Roscoe was in.
Oh, isn't it great to have 4 people in the studio this afternoon? We are going to have some fun. That's what it's all about here on Racing Post Live.
I've got something for later that I'm just tossing up now, but I'll save it up.
Oh, great. Okay, so all of a sudden I'm feeling some heat. So you give it out, you've got to expect it back. I'll tell you what, Adam, when he was walking into the studio, we said, 4 people on the on the panel again. And Rob Lee, senior producer, said, we might have to get a bigger desk. He said, you might have to get a smaller host. So it's already come. It's already come my way. Unbelievably, that's not going to happen.
Anyway, you know when the monikers came up, what did your one say this time?
Did it say senior analyst?
I don't know. I think it should say like shouty pundit or something like that. I think someone needs to-
That was very, very.
Oh, he's a
I'll
little
tell you. So what you haven't worked out is that Graeme is very sore about the fact it just says tipster on it. And, I mentioned this to our chief marketing officer, when I had lunch with him the other day, and he went, "Just get it changed then. What's his problem?"
Well, cold tipster.
Did you?
Isn't it?
Have
It's
you
a
not?
bit cold tip.
Apparently they've changed it. Oh yeah, you've changed it. So what you
They've changed it.
You take that
sorry,
back immediately.
I
man.
didn't see it. What did they change yours as well?
No, what do you mean they change? I am a senior analyst, for goodness sake.
They promised me last time that
They would change it.
yours.
Oh, I see. There was a bit of a stitch up going on. What did it say then? What did it say? Lazy, tired assistant betting editor. Something like that.
There was a lottery going on as to what we could change yours to, Dave. That was for sure.
Oh, okay. This is what happens when they go drinking without me in town. All right, there you go. You've got to take it sometimes on the chin. Shall we have a think about Chester coming up? Because we've got a listed race over a mile 4. It's a very interesting race, actually, because last year's winner isn't it James Alenak, but he's lacking a run this time round. We've got to be careful between 2 and 3 because we've got Alunak, of course, who took out the Old Newton Cup, didn't he? And, or was it Old Newton or Old Borough? Old Newton, wasn't it? I think. Old Newton, both at ADOC basically. Big, prestigious handicaps. David Probert, what a year he's having. Stall 3. Does anyone ride Chester better at the moment than David Probert?
What's his name?
Maybe not.
Franny Norton or John Egan. Isn't it?
That's a lazy one to go to, you see. Can we put him just back to tipster, please? He's showing his knowledge there. Look, David Probert around Chester, absolutely superb. But Throne Hall is in the mix as well. Invite, we've got Wells Fargo. There's a name as well, James. Who's hot and who's not?
Alunak's pretty solid ahead of the market. 3.55 on the exchanges. Alignac, last year's winner, 4.2. So solid enough, bearing in mind he has been off for the full year. Next in is Invite, John Egan on that one for the potential second string for Andy Biden, 7.4. Throne Hall, 8.4. And Wells Fargo, I thought actually might go okay from the front. He's currently 14, so he might well be stripping a bit fitter than his return at York.
Yeah, he caught my eye. He just won first. He is a horse that can go well fresh, isn't he? So I was expecting more than an RPO in the 90s for him.
Yeah, you could argue that, but in fact he's missed so much time since then, he might not have been quite 100%.
Is he the play then?
I'm going to stick with the favourite, Alunak, 3.45. I'm going to stick £50 on him and try and get the Mother Earth money back because it's been a frustrating start. But Wells Fargo, keep an eye on him in the run because if he's getting an easy time of it on the front end around Chester, we saw him in the Bahrain Trophy, 3 years ago now? He just disappeared under Dave Allen and never come back. But Paul Hannigan rising today for the first time. Obviously, he's had his injury issues, but Son of Fire, like that rain that's fallen at Chester yesterday, and he could go well at a price currently 15.5, but might not last time.
Okay, so the Fav, great chance then, basically, Alunak. He's just got that one win, hasn't he? Sometimes he can look a little bit, but maps to get the run. Let's talk about Throne Hall then. I think this chap's got a great chance. He's got top handicap form, the likes of Villarab, hasn't he? Of course, Sam Cook. That must have been frustrating last time at York.
It was, but
Sam Cook he's a nutter. Talking about nut, he's the prince of nutters.
Yeah, and to be fair, he just found that a little bit more every time we got to him.
Yeah.
It was great to see him bounce back. He's a horse we like, and I think he's a talent.
In the Emirati Anna colours, of course.
Yeah, I think he looked like a stayer. He looked like he was going to get mile 6 earlier in the season. We've tried it a couple of times. Listen, this is his trip. A little bit worried about the draw, but hopefully they go good gallop. And to be fair, they've moved that rail out quite a bit now, so it does cut away there. So hopefully if you're in behind, you'll get a run.
Yeah, it's been drying at Chester. Will that suit him?
As long as it's not really tacky.
Stall 9, Andrea Azzini. Where can we expect to see him in the run?
I'd say
The other jockeys and trainers are not listening to this bit. We don't think you're good.
You just jumped probably to go forward and try and find a posse, but listen, you probably wherever you land, you just have to maybe ride for luck.
Okay.
Just something that really interests me with this horse in particular because he actually shows up on one of my not sort of racing by number systems, but one of my sort of weirder systems.
How long have we got here? How long have we got?
I generally like backing horses who were tailed off last time out because I think that a poor run can be overestimated. So I backed Throne Hall last time out and I was absolutely gutted. I actually backed him in his last 3 starts, but...
It was Royal Ascot where we thought we were expecting
he finished tailed off, didn't he, twice? Was it Ascot? Now, I think Ascot, everything went wrong, didn't it? I mean, he got out the back for...
Out the back, mile 6.
Why would he be tailed off two runs?
I'd say tailed off was a little bit dramatic. He only got
He was well beaten, wasn't he?
Listen,
Southern.
look, this was always going to be the worry today. You've got 2 assistant trainers either side of you.
No, I just
you
think,
need to get on.
No, but
We need them
the
coming
second
back.
time as well, the base of the race was done a long way from home, and you're just looking after, because you're not going to kill him there to finish, 10th out of 12th.
my logic.
Sense
He's
prevailing.
a mile 4 horse.
This is where it's quite good because my logic for this system, right? If I was a trainer, right? If I had a horse that was tailed off last time out and it came back into my yard, I'd be like, well, there must be something wrong with that, or what is the problem here? And I think the reason that backing tailed off horses last time out can prove profitable is because a lot of trainers, they get these horses back and they go, oh, he's run so badly that can't possibly be true. Let's have a look, and then they find something. And then they fix it, and then they go off a big price that come out, and they
You're
run
suggesting
well.
if a horse finishes 4th, 3rd, or 2nd,
I mean,
or 1st,
is that a logic?
he's good.
Is that a good logic? If if you've got a horse that runs so badly, would you look at him and go, what went
This
wrong?
is your chance here
we
to
do,
get him
but
back.
listen, he just didn't stay. And the simple fact is, you take them 2 runs over mile 6. I don't think he's been out the first 3 in 3 years.
No, I absolutely
2
love
years.
it.
So I think basically just everything went wrong at Ascot. Same thing at Newmarket. So
The other thing is they
so we
don't have a
started-
hard race, James, do they? When they,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I think beating 7 lengths of Royal Ascot, it wasn't a tailed off.
I absolutely love the horse. I've been backing him, but I'm just interested in the logic behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just didn't happen for him. And straight away we aimed him. Get back to mile 4. We know that works. And thankfully bounced back to form. Like I say, the only concern here is probably the wide draw.
Yeah,
Strong support
I would
for last
be
year's winner.
absolutely with Adam there. All right, so strong money for?
Alignac, last year's winner. He's now 4.1, 3.5 Alunak, the old horse.
In fact, he hasn't run since winning this race, has he? So he's obviously had his problems, but Team Stouts they're happy to get him back. Richard Kingscote, very, very good around Chester, likes a catchy. And of course, that
There we
main
are.
meeting. They are off and running then. And one as well, I think we could say absolutely missed the break. It's Hayley Turner, already out the back. John Egan taking Invite right out the back as well. Now, where's Thrown All from that wide draw? Adam, you're happy with this? He's just going to take his medicine and get in.
Looks like it, yeah. He sort of he jumped okay, but they've gone a double clip, haven't they? So I think we're just riding for luck now.
Yeah, let's come to you, James, because you said if Wells Fargo gets out in front and gets an easy run, looks like he's going quick enough to my eyes.
Not easy, because Richard Kingscott wanted to front as well on Alignac, and they've gone fairly quick for the first 2 furlongs. Maybe they'll ease it up now, but yeah, strong enough pace for this guy.
That's not a good position for Thrown Hall, is it? Though he was in a much better position last time out at York. If I'd backed him, I'd be sitting there thinking, I'd like to see him a bit closer.
I don't mind this because he's got in, hasn't he?
But I was going to say, because you end up there with there was 3 or 4 ones to go forward, and you end up racing 4 wide. It's just you've got no chance.
You're
from out
beaten
there,
after 2 furlongs,
You
aren't you?
have to take your medicine and ride for luck.
And it's not like they're going slowly, G, is it? So it's like, maybe he'll drop the anchor at some point. In fact, I think they're going to what you
It's a good
might
even
call a pretty
gallop.
sound place. Yeah.
I don't know, I think they must have eased it up a little bit. They have concertinaed it up a bit, haven't they?
Yeah, okay, so they're all getting their positions now. Where's the favourite then? Alunak, not Alignac. He's right out the back as well, upsize. Invites a Thrown All. He's going to have to come past horses. What's this on the inside? Dabyar, isn't it? Of course, Joseph O'Brien sending one down to Chester. Good to see. Winter Reprise for David Menuisier. What news that was in the week about Wonderful tonight. We'll get a word from the panellists about that. And Alfred Butcher, a horse who surprised me a little bit at how well his season he's having. He's just changed tactics. He's a horse that likes to come through him. He's in 4th. Right, now we're ramping up, guys, around the bend. James.
Yeah, Wells Fargo's gone down to 9.2 on the front end. It's 2.7 Alunak. They don't like Alignac, who's out to 5s.
That's a tricky one, isn't it? The 2
Not
and the
easy.
3 horses, we can call them. Thrown All, and not quite off it at the minute, but he's going to do well to pick the favourite up, I think, because Alunak G looks like he's got his Winter Reprise. Not the week for David Menuisier whatsoever. Looks like he's taking a bad step. Turning in then. Who's going to win it, G?
I think Alignac is going really well. I don't know why Alignac has gone out in the betting.
Even money, Alunak.
What about Invite? John Egan not gone for him at all.
Which one?
Cruising Invite, yeah, he's
In the
done.
team Valor
John
colours.
Egan, the good jockey at your Chester. See,
I think it's a good horse, G, as well, isn't it? But Thrown All, not the day for him
think
today.
Egan's gonna come
Wells
down the
Fargo then
outside.
kicks. This is the classy stayer. Will he be able to hang on in front?
Oh, yeah, it's a masterclass from John Egan. Here he
I'll
comes.
tell you, right down the outside
Here he
as well.
comes.
Oh, I tell you what, John Egan has peached it. Graeme Rodway, he thought that might be the case. Invite wins going away then. Is it that 1-2 for Andrew Balding? It is, because Alunak, who looked for all the world like he was going to pick this up, just laboured when the gun was put to his head. Was that Fargo hanging on for 3rd as well? That's a big comeback to form for him as well. We're off and running at Chester, who was with Invite. Well done if you were. James, when did they pick up on this? I'd sort of knew turning in that he had a lot of horse in front of him, but there was also a wall to climb.
Literally tracked through the stablemate, Alunak through. She only hit a high of 15.5 in the run. Alinak really did go 1.45 in the run, so they did think it was going to be the other Bolden horse in front. And Wells Fargo, he actually hit 2.82 on the front end. So if you had backed him at 15s pre-race and laid him off in the run, you would have made a nice profit there.
Nice to see him back, isn't it? I just wonder with that horse whether they might think about looking at a hurdle with him. I don't know if he's a bit old to do that. He's 6-year-old now and he's going 7, but wow, he'd be excited, wouldn't he? Last year's winner, Alignac. Need a run, don't you? That's what it's all about. Now let's have a look at the debrief. If you know Andrea was coming in, you go racing a lot with the yard. What do you think he'll be saying after throwing all?
I think the draw wasn't great, and it looks quite testing ground there. Quite
choppy.
tacky ground. Yeah, it wouldn't suited him, but I think the right one's on the wall for a long way out. But listen, we'll see.
He's developing this profile now of throwing in stinkers, isn't he? Because that's another one. I mean, he's been beaten a mile. He's beaten a mile at Ascot. He's beaten a mile, 7 lengths or whatever. He's obviously also with loads of talent.
Will you be backing him next time on your madcap theory?
I probably will, because like I say, he's not had a hard race. But I mean, personally, if I was training him, which I don't, obviously, I'd be thinking, it looks like maybe.
The problem is that James is sitting over there.
That's the first bad run he's had over a mile and a half.
You know, the last time
mile and 6, just put a line through them.
Yeah.
So it's the first bad run over a mile and a half.
And these two met.
The last time these two met, in fact, it was probably the first time actually, we did a feature show in here last year, and it was Dream of Dreams versus Hello Youmzain at the time, and he actually had the temerity to say that Hello Youmzain wasn't actually that good.
Oh dear.
Can you believe that? And here he is, Adam has, taken it on the chin like the man he is, come back in, and he knew he was going to be sitting next to you today. Just look, behave yourself, will you? We need these calibre people coming in.
I absolutely love.
I can't just work with you all winter.
I absolutely love having people like Adam in, because you can get an idea of what is going on with him.
Yeah, he doesn't hold anything back. And what, of course, G really meant was, is he that good? Because I think I was saying at the time, I was a huge Hello Youmzain fan, you know that.
Yeah.
And he was, he came back and took out the Diamond Jubilee.
Oh, the Hello
proper
Youmzain, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit
but you said he wasn't actually that good.
It was a bit of banter, wasn't it?
And then you loved it, because when he wasn't in the studio, you came in the next week and went, told you so. Because Dream of Dreams have gone and won the Sprint Cup, of course.
Well, you
fickle
man.
You
have to take your chances when they come, Dave, and that just happened to work out in my favour.
Exactly. All right, so we are cooking with gas. What a weekend it is. Let's get some interaction in. It's great to have Adam Ryan with us, of course. We will be talking all glass slippers in the defence of the Flying Five tomorrow. Let me tell you, everyone is excited about that. Doesn't that look like one of the races of the weekend? The non-thought winner going up against it. Of course, they've got a line on that. They had the second, Emiratiana, Chin Starman. If you want to know any questions about the Sprint Cup for Adam, get them in. We're thinking basically after the Park Stakes at 3 o'clock at Doncaster. We've got a bit of time until the St Ledger. That's when we'll be hearing it. Well, let me tell you, if you want to go and have a look at the race now, Glass Slippers is not unfancied. Right, okay. Well, shall we move on? Where are we going to next? Oh, of course, it's the Champagne Stakes, isn't it? At Donny. Talk about 4-runner races. We've got, of course, the Irish Champion coming up. This is another one. And where are you going for this? Reach for the Moon or Le Sail or one of the others? James Millman.
One of the others, actually, for me. I'm going to go for the third one in. Bayside Boy for Roger Varian. I think this is an absolutely cracking Champagne Stakes. I think the top 2 in the market are solid horses. I love Lucelle. He's just uncomplicated. Son of Memas. Whatever Pat Dobbs wants him to do, he does. He's got that £3 penalty, though, for Jim Crack. He's back up to 7 furlongs. Is he going to be as effective? He's looked very good in the July and the Jim Crack the last twice. Got the £3 penalty. That's the question mark for him. Reach for the Moon. Family are a little bit dodgy. He's got a red hood on.
Hold on, you can't say that about Queen's horse.
Why can we not say that about the
Golden
Queen's horse?
Stream
You just obliterated Adam Ryan's horse.
Golden Stream was lovely. It was a lovely horse.
Golden Stream?
All those years ago, yeah, she was lovely. Golden
Mainstream.
Stream.
We'll go to mainstream then. The half brother.
I'm going to be with James here. There was.
Hold on, what?
They all went a bit nutty, the Queen's horses, didn't they, about 10 years ago? And
Memory.
She had, yeah, absolutely. It was the Flight of Fancy family. They were fancy, let me tell you. Upstairs, they were. Listen, this is why you don't have senior next year, okay? Because I remember that bloodline, and they did, and she had to go to Sheikh Mohammed. She didn't have to go to Sheikh Mohammed, of course. The Aga Khan, they stepped in. Said, Your Majesty, would you like to have some of our boob mare lines? They did, and they got these Carlton House type horses, solid horses that didn't think about it all the time. If you ever see Flight of Fancy in, the damn side of the Queen's horses, beware. There's going to be some headgear on at some point, I think. Yeah, so I'm with James.
Off with your head, Dave.
Yeah, off my head, I think. A lot of people will be saying, quite right as well. Shouty pundit, I'm not having that. So, Bayside Boy, what's the theory? Beaten last time out for Roger Varian.
probably should have won. Just greenness cost him against Masakela. He had 4 runs in the bag for Andrew Bolden. I thought it was a good effort. On his debut, he ran in the first division of the novice that Reach for the Moon won at Newbury. They were differently run races, but he ran it in a faster time. Find, the runner-up, was 3 lengths behind him. He was only a length behind Lucelle when Lucelle beat him at Newmarket in his novice. So I just felt that he's a little bit overpriced. His son of Newbay, look, he's taken on 2 decent 2-year-olds that are solid in the context of Champagne Stakes. I thought he'd be targeted this a little while ago and he'd have a great chance in it, but the 2 best have probably taken him on. But I just felt he shouldn't be 7.4. He's the 3rd one in the market. I thought he's got a good chance. Reach of the Moon, there's just that slight quirk for me with the family. He's actually looked pretty straightforward the last twice. I was at both Sandown and at Newbury when he beat Harrow's, obviously gone on to boost the form for Highclere at York this week. But it wasn't a great Solario last time. Great Max has been beaten on a few occasions. He was 5-2 on.
He runs tomorrow, doesn't he? Great Max against Point Lonsdale and Native Trial. I've got a lot of time for Native Trial. I'm really looking forward to that. Another treat this weekend. So we'll get to see a bit about that. You just got the feeling in the Solario, G, that it was just, let's just win this race. You know, best horse. Let's just get on with it. John Gosling at the start of the season, and now son being a partner Thady as well, said we're very good with your Palace peers, and he likes that. But with a couple of John by the way, so we don't have the younger horses. Of course, we've seen Inspiral take out the Mayhill in the week. She looks like a real deal, doesn't she? Is this chap of that calibre? Are we talking about a Guineas horse?
Yeah, I mean, this is the best 2-year-old in Britain.
This is the best 2-year-old in Britain.
Oh yeah, Reach for the Moon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is an absolute superstar.
We're beaten by Point Lonsdale in the Cheshire.
Yeah, but Point Lonsdale's the best 2-year-old in Britain and Ireland. I mean, this is the best 2-year-old in Britain.
Right.
This horse is going to be a real player in the Derby if he gets there, and provided he doesn't go mental like you two are telling me that he might. But you know, I think it could be a great story for the sport next year, because it's a big jubilee year next year for the Queen, isn't it? Platinum Jubilee. Right?
You're a fan. You're a royalist. You're a monarchy.
Yeah,
fan.
Of course, isn't everyone?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not. I am.
And then the whole.
But I don't. I mean, I'm not switched on. I've got a lot to think about here. I'm the only one with an earpiece in today.
This is great,
not just a
isn't it?
shouty pundit. You know, I've got a lot going on. I can't think about jubilees and all that sort of thing.
Well, yes, it's a Platinum Jubilee year, isn't it? Now,
Is there a horse called Platinum Jubilee?
It's Platinum Jubilee. And then the last time when Diamond Jubilee was Carlton House, wasn't it? And he went off favourite for the Derby. Now, next year in Derby weekend, it's going to be getting an extra bank holiday, Dave. They're giving us extra bank holiday, right? The Queen's going to be at the Oaks of the Derby, right? Imagine if she were to win the Derby in her Platinum year, when she's there on her Platinum Jubilee. This could be like huge for the sport. People have been going on about marketing the sport. Could there be a better marketing tool for the sport than if Reach for the Moon were to win the Derby? And I really think he can. This horse, I think he'll win today, and I think he'll win by a wide margin.
Ooh, so we're talking about distances. That's how confident that G is. You're with him on this, aren't you? Now you're
I'm not with everything he said.
I wouldn't be.
I'm with him on the selection.
I wouldn't be. Don't worry. I and the viewers are aware of that. You are a man that can talk a good game. Let me tell you, this is why we've got you on the show, Adam. Adam is one of the good talkers of the game, definitely. And yet you sat there and you just didn't know. You were speechless then, weren't you, pretty much? This is what happens with the Big Bear, I'm afraid. Millman's getting a bit used to it now. But he was sitting there, by the way, James, getting yada, yada, yada. But you do think Reach of the Moon is the one to be with here, don't you?
Yeah, it's Lucille, talented horse. I just think if, like Graeme was saying, Reach for the Moon is going to be a stayer.
You've got a line on him as well, haven't you, Adam? On the sale.
Yeah, well, we finished second in the gym crack to him. I think he just got. He's a speed horse, and Frankie can turn this into a test with the ground and everything. I think keep it simple, point and shoot, and let him stride out.
Make
I
this
think,
a test for
I
the
think,
non-
I think
yeah.
he is the best horse. I think Point Lonsdale's probably the best horse in the juvenile category, and he's only beaten half a length. So,
whoever thought it? There's some agreement going on the paddle. All right, you can see the spotlight verdict as well. Reach for the Moon. Solario win, another one for Gozzi here, getting £3 from Lucille. Let's open up the social floor, shall we? And see who's out there. Jesus is out there and says Lucille bolts up. You're with Tom Collins. 10-point Tom, of course. I spoke to him yesterday. He said this was just about one of his bets of the weekend. Lucille then for Richard Hanley, who's won 3 with his 6 runners in this. Mark McCann, good to have you along, Mark. Along with Jesus, says done Lucille, but playing prices. So you're thinking that Reach for the Moon is a little bit too short. Well, if you're listening to G and Adam Ryan, you think the 4 to 6 might be one of the odds on shots
I
in the
don't think
weekend?
Lou Sale will finish second. I like James's horse for
The
second.
Bayside Boy.
Bayside Boy, yeah, because I think that Massacala is a very good horse and he ran him close last time.
Oh.
I think that Lou Sale's like one of those who's got the dodgy.
You're
feet.
still blowing the Massacala trumpet, are you?
Oh yeah, I like Massacala, but I think Lou Sale's like one of those early season 2-year-olds who's got a lot of good 2-year-old form, but he'll drift away next season.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Could be wrong, Coles.
Do you remember in the Cheshire, he thought that Massacala was going to win?
I didn't actually work
I
that
said he's a
day.
South
but
African jazz trumpeter.
I was quite lucky I didn't endure that, I think.
Oh, we weren't in for that one.
Not
We
for that
were
one.
talking
No,
about
that's a
that.
Vuvuzela, isn't it? A
What?
South African.
That was a World Cup.
Trumpet.
wasn't it?
That
Yeah.
is-
The South African trumpet in
Yeah.
the World Cup.
There's a
What
lot of
were you-
agreement going on
what
between
were
you
saying
today.
about
Pals, is
Massacala?
it?
What is it?
Hugh Massacala, is it? I think is the
Oh
jazz
right, he's a
trumpetist.
trumpeter. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, he is. Very
Does he
well
play
known.
a Vuvuzela as well?
Well, I don't think he would have been around to play one.
Right, okay.
Where did the Vuvuzela come from? They were so annoying, weren't they? And that weird South African World Cup we had. It was a dreadful World Cup, wasn't it?
That was a weird one.
All that sort of thing. They were worried about them coming out there. Here we go. We've even spoken about Vuvuzelas on the show. We can see Frankie being interviewed at Doncaster. He's had some week, hasn't he? He has had some week.
He's an absolute legend, and he's still one of the best, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just.
If you think that
He's like a fine wine, isn't he?
Is Gary Bardwell, who won the Legends race, just 3 years older than him, isn't he? When you look at that, you're like, that is a jaw-dropping moment, isn't it? James?
The angry hand.
That was a great moment, actually, of the week, wasn't it? Our very own Charlie Post was in that. Did you
He
see
was,
him?
yeah.
He third
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Coverham.
Yeah, he
He
ran
got
all right.
excited. I WhatsApped him afterwards. I said, come on, did we think it was on? He goes, for a minute, I thought it was on. I think it was Mark Grant, his former contemporary, of course, in the jumps racing game. He just put him on the Post. He got excited, let's put it that way. When he got the whip out, he said, "Do you see my whip action? I've been working on it." I said, it's a little bit dodgy, but he looked like he was going to win. It was a great race, wasn't it?
Oh, Godolphin laid one out for the Leicester Legends.
Wasn't an obvious Godolphin layout, was
Who
it?
would have thought it? But yeah, cracking stuff.
Yeah,
for
but
Gary
when you think
Bardwell.
that Frankie is in that age range, it is remarkable. Did you see the last race on, was it the Thursday, where there was the 3-runner race and Harrovian saw off Ryan on
Yes, I didn't see
Sinjari?
it. No, but
That was some ride, that wasn't it? That was some ride.
I didn't see it, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
I think it's testament to Frankie, though, isn't it? And like, look at the footballers now. Giggsy went on to these 40. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo now.
Man United fan here, you've picked 2 Man United players there.
But I mean, I think it's testament to the guys when the effort and the life, the life they live to get themselves to that point.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's going to stop for the next 10 years, does he?
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. No, absolutely. So, well, we could go on about that, couldn't we? Is he the best jockey in the world still, Frankie? I mean, there was a lot said about Ryan Moore, wasn't there, about him being the greatest jockey in the world. Stats didn't, lie on that front as well, but Frankie it's remarkable, isn't it? Stradivarius, what did we make of him this week? You're the handicapper of the stayers.
Yeah,
I know you took him on as well, didn't you? I've been waiting to get that one in, actually.
Yeah, I keep taking him on. He keeps.
What, when Trushan was non-running, you still took him on?
Yeah, with the other one.
Rodrigo thing that
Rodrigo Diaz.
ran
Handicapper.
terribly.
He took
Yeah.
him
I
on.
know,
The
this is
handicapper.
what you've got to rely on his RPRs for the staying division.
I wonder, I'll have to have a little disregard when I look at the RPRs for the next entry.
I actually haven't had a chance to rate that race yet, but
Just make sure you put Stradivarius up.
I suspect Stradivarius has probably run somewhere between sort of 10 to 12 pound below form.
But a record was broken in that, wasn't it? Now, the all-time European Group 1 winning horse from...
Yeah, it's a great horse.
We spoke about him earlier. He's a gelding that should have run the Arc.
Sirs the Eagles.
Yes, he beat the record. They jointly held it, didn't they? So whatever you make of it, fully justified in bringing
Yeah,
Strad back.
he's great horse, isn't he?
Brilliant horse.
He's a winner.
Yeah, what's he going to sire? Is he going to sire jump horses? Because he's quite a bit of speed.
yeah,
he's better.
he's-
Mighty Mouse called him in the yard, don't they? Because he's tiny.
That's the problem for his jump sire prospects. And is he quick enough to be a flat stallion prospect? Probably not.
Typical Millman, pouring some scorn on the,
I'm just the reality-
winning most Group 1 horse of all
The
time.
reality
in
of
Europe.
Stradivarius is that the sales market will probably not be particularly strong.
So that's absolutely, listen, that's probably why he has.
But as a
come
marketing
back.
tool for racing, the connection between him and Frankie is great, isn't it? To see him going
Amazing.
year after
Absolutely
year. We
brilliant.
need horses like
Especially
that.
with Enable having gone off to the paddocks and things like that. Wonderful tonight as we wait for the horses to go in for the Champagne Stakes. Real sad news that, wasn't it, Adam? I mean, imagine having absolute star like that who looked like it had a genuine chance if it had been soft in the arc as well. Poor David Manuzia this week. Took it on the chin as usual with David. Absolutely superb character.
Yeah, it's the horrible side of our sport, unfortunately. But listen, at least she's safe and well, and she'll have a career at stud, and we can look forward to seeing her offspring. But crying shame
about that, G, aren't you?
Yeah, I liked her. I liked her. I thought she was really good. And when she won Ascot, I thought she could really get to the top. And we've been robbed, really, of the chance of seeing that, because I think she would have been really good on heavy ground at Longchamp.
That's the problem, isn't it, with the arc? Of course, we've built it as one of the arcs of the ages. We've just got to get them all there. All right, we're nearly all there then in the 220. Good luck wherever you're playing in the Champagne Stakes. I'm noticing, of course, that there is a poll going out at the moment as well. Who wins the St Ledger? Is it Hurricane Lane? Is it Ottoman Emperor? Is it someone else? Mojo Star. We like him a lot. Let us know. We'll give you a shout.
You calling him Moho?
All right, we're off. What did you say?
You call him Moho Star.
I know. I don't know why I call him Moho Star. I think when
Frankie's
I went to
away in
South
front
America.
anyway.
Yeah, thanks for that. You've really put me off my
Come on,
corner.
Frankie, get
Right,
it done.
Adam Ryan, I'm going to come to you straight away before we go to James. This is what you were expecting, Frankie in front.
Ideal, really. I think keep it simple. Probably use his stamina and try and run the finish out of LaSalle.
Yeah, okay. So what price has he gone? He was already around about 4 to 6 mark.
1.52, went up at 1.63.
Yeah, they love a front runner. How's your selection going, James? Bayside Boy.
Bit keen early on. He's going to have to do well to pick up. He's 8.8 in the run.
Not as keen as the outsider Twilight Jet, who's just off Reach for the Moon. I guess if you're on the sale, giving the £3 to the Fav, you want that one.
Is he worried he's going a little bit too slowly here? He might get out sprinted.
Possibly, but I don't know. This is Frankie from the front. Is no one better, is there?
No, that's
the
right.
best front-running jockey of all time.
On the
Let me
best
say
horse
that.
in the race, of course.
Yeah, all right. So LaSalle now stretching. I think the market not going to be so keen on him, but is the favourite just going for it, James, a little bit?
Yeah, he's now 1.74 the favourite. 3.4 Bayside Boy, who is starting to pick up.
Yes,
but probably
he
not
is.
going to be quite good enough.
All right, we're about to find out then. This has been won by some of the worldies. Frankel, of course. Tell you what, Twilight Jet is hanging in there real well.
He's
isn't
running
he?
a cracker,
He's got
isn't he?
loads to
He-
find. Michael
he
O'Callaghan.
might beat him.
And we got an upset here. G said this was one of the best 2-year-olds, if not the best
Bayside
2-year-old in
Boy.
Britain. Here comes Bayside Boy,
Bayside.
favourite in all sorts of trouble. Is he going to pull it out of fire? Frankie's coming back. I'll tell you what, you might get lucky here, boys.
Oh, it's
Bayside
very
Boy on top.
close.
It's going to be one for
Bayside's
Millman.
gonna get there.
The Millman has done it.
Well done,
At the third
Millman.
time of asking. Bayside Boy sees off the Fav, Reach for the Moon.
Best 2-year-old just dethroned there. in the UK.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
I tell you what, fair play to you because you put yourself, your head on the block there. It has just been chopped off.
It was a bit disappointing, wasn't it, by the second?
Yeah, he couldn't
looked
get
a
away,
bit
could
slow,
he?
didn't he?
He did. Adam, what do you reckon?
Fair play to the winner there. He was keen early doors, but I think Davey gave him a great ride there. Rode him with loads of confidence, got him nice and settled in the end. And to be fair, from the furlong pole, I think there was only one winner.
That is a massive step up from that listed race, though, isn't it, G? I think Masakela and him had that scrap. He's shown a real nice side to his game there.
Yeah,
He's by New Bay, so a little bit of cut going forward won't be a problem. He's got slight knee action there as well, hasn't he? But he's got away with it today. I love the way he came over the top. But has he been the recipient of a pace burn-up?
Possibly. It's hard to be absolutely 100% sure. I think the second definitely is going to want further, isn't he, in time?
James is shaking his head there.
I think Twilight Jet's run a cracker. That was on the front end as well. Bayside Boy was the one that had to make ground out from the back. He's got outpaced 2 out and looked like he was going to be third.
The
at
best horse lost that race.
No. Best horse is Bayside Boy.
Well, you put him up, so I'm asking the wrong person there. Reach for the Moon, what's that, 22112. Point Lonsdale form? Interesting.
I don't think the best horse lost. I think possibly the best long-term prospect lost. But, on the day, I think
There
the
was
best horse won.
£13 coming into this race between them, according to the handicapper.
We had only seen him twice. We've seen Reach for the Moon 4 times. And the handicapper actually rated him a lot lower than Masakela, even though they were upsides, because the form was held by those in behind. But I think Masakela's 107, and he rated us on 101. So
How good's Masakela then?
You should tell us, because you thought he would win
No,
the Cheshire, didn't
I
you?
think he's very good. Yeah,
He's a balding horse, isn't he, in those...
I think he's very good.
All right, okay, so we'll look out for Masakela next time then. Adam, if you're laying Reach for the Moon, if you're one of the players on the exchange that's looked at this and gone, I want to get this horse, you're delighted with the fact that Michael O'Callaghan's horse has had a pop at him, haven't you? We were expecting Lusail, of course, to pick it up. Hasn't he run a stinker?
Listen, I think maybe LaSalle it was an attempt at this trip on this ground. Maybe he doesn't quite get there, but listen, he's done nothing wrong all year, so I think it's just fair play to the winner. To be honest, I don't think they were going ridiculous fractions. I think it was just a nice even gallop, and I think on the day the best horse has won.
Reach for the Moon's quickened here and has got Bayside Boy off the bridle, and Betfair market.
He's never found again, has he? You know?
No.
Commander Von Rorik, look, joining the party. Seen you in the chat today. One of our long-standing commenters. Blimey, says the Commander. Okay, you were with G then. Just expected this to win. Okay, so we were Look, this is. Well, you see these short price favourites. You thought most of them would go in today. What, we had 2 sunk already, haven't we? Maybe 3.
But it'd be interesting to see what the ground's like, though.
Have they all got
Because if
sunk?
it's drying out now,
All
it
got
could be
sunk.
tacky, couldn't it?
No fav yet on the show.
Sunk.
Yeah,
I reckon either.
It looks a bit
Because he was
tacky,
the
Adam, doesn't
favourite
it? Let's
winning
get some
the
race
round.
times to the guys in the gallery and we'll find out a bit on that. I don't know. What do you make of Reach for the Moon? Has he been a bit overhyped? We'll see what the Coston camp says after that. But are we just being a bit disparaging about the winner? Personally, if I was analysing it, and I am the senior analyst in the room, just to remind you, Graeme Rodway, I would say that Reach for the Moon wasn't helped by... I think he was a bit surprised by the outsider there. I would suggest that's
I
the
was
case.
actually reading.
He's tried to come back, hasn't he?
Should probably come back to this later, but I was actually reading one of your analysis the other day on a race that I'd rated, and I sort of had a disagreement. I was like, I'm not sure.
Ah, did we? Can you remember what race it was?
Can't remember.
Oh, try and remember. I love it when that happens. We know who's going to be right. Bayside Boy, did you go in with James Millman then? 4th time of asking, of course, because we've had 4 races now. Fair play. So a little
I've
bit
got something on the Betfair account anyway.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yeah, well
Listen,
done,
your
yeah.
big boots you're filling in for. Let me tell you, the big hitter himself, Barry Orr. Isn't it great that Leopardstown is having its first sold-out meeting in Ireland this year? They're really catching up now there, aren't they? Which is absolutely great. So that place is going to be rocking, and in around about 20 minutes' time, we have the big one of the season there. It's the Irish Champion Stakes, another 4-runner race. Let us know who wins that. Of course, we're expecting most of you to say St Mark's Basilica, but what a love affair, and a lot of you have, with Tanawa and Poetic Flair. Tough 3-year-old, isn't he? Cannot wait for that. What will the tactics be? We'll get the panel's view. After the next at Chester, which is coming up, it's another mile 6 race. And there are a couple of nons here on the count of the ground. Arrow of Gold, who would have been fab for this if he'd have taken his chance, but he was a bit flat yesterday as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, so just...
Nice horse, though.
Yeah, he's got a nice profile. You know, he finished second there on his return after a bit of time off. So, you know, I think he's a horse that's going to stay. So he was probably one in the field that was open to progress. So it's unfortunate, but you know, he'll be out again soon
I'll
enough.
tell you what, after last weekend at Haydock with Emiratiana now, you're going to get a nice consignment again, aren't you, for next year? I bet you and Dad, Mum and Amy were like, oh, here we go, we're in again.
To be fair, it was huge for us to be able to repay the faith that, you know, Sheikh Bates put into the yard. You know, you can't do without support like that, and you know, to have a not just Emiratiana, but then obviously the 2-year-old who won the Ascendant Stakes as well. You know, to repay that.
You've had a winner at Royal Ascot as well. Listen, we're going to do this after the 3 o'clock. We're going to talk a bit about the season and what might hold going forward. Everyone's can't wait to hear that. I know that out there. So, but it's been a good year, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, and you know, full credit to the team. You know, after what's been a tricky sort of 18 months to get back into this, it's fantastic.
Let me give you some times then of what we've seen so far at Doncaster. The Portland, as you might expect, a strongly run race, slowed by 2.36 seconds. So suggests it's nearly good, but that was a little bit lesser, slowed by nearly the best part of 5 seconds. That so suggests that Frankie didn't go hard early, doesn't it?
Yeah, looked to me as though he was the one that was happy to make the run. New Sales got that speed to turn a foot. They wanted to get the new base and get settled in behind. So Frankie had the run of the race. I think there's no excuses against that. Beforehand, he's always wanted to get cover to settle in, but I thought he settled okay in front. So I've always liked Bayside Boy since he won on the same card as Reach for the Moon, and he's another good horse for Newbay, a fantastic sire.
Yes, absolutely. What's the horse of Stouts that's not been seen since the London Gold Cup?
Yeah, Bay Bridge.
Bay Bridge. He looks proper gravy, doesn't he?
Must be same colours, Bay Bridge.
Ooh, no, I don't think it is.
No.
It's the James Wigan colours, Bay Bridge, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, you're right there actually.
That's why I'm in the chair, James.
That's why you're the senior.
That's why the senior man is in the chair. I think I am the oldest here as well. I think probably I am as well. Not just senior in the analysis department, but age as well, catching up with Dave Orton. All right, let's go and catch up with Chester then, because it's the mile 6 race coming up. All right, we don't have Arrow of Gold. We don't have Man Senior Lightly Pace Angle. James, take it away.
Yeah, Hockfeld was what I was going to go for. He's currently 5.1, just about second favourite in the market. I'm not confident about it. I thought the race is cut up with the non-runners. Johnny Pete is a something I'll claim to note. So £25 on at 5.1 for Hockfeld's the choice in this contest. Favourite is Mr. Curiosity. He's currently 4.1 for Jamie Spencer, stall 5. Nuit St George is just about third favourite, 5.2, hopefully for David Minutier.
Nuit Saint George, Knight. of Saint George. So it's Nui. Barry's. That was a Barry-like pronunciation.
Barry?
I have to tell you.
Fair enough.
You are channeling.
No
him
front
perfectly.
safe for me.
You were nodding away with James there when he was talking about the claiming jockey. Did I see a little nod?
Yep. Yeah, I think he's
Johnny Pete.
Yeah, good jockey.
If you are a £7 claimer and you're getting a Saturday ride in a TV race for Mark Johnson, does that mean you're obviously, a jockey thought to be going places?
These they can be invaluable, especially in races like this because it's quite an open race. So his £7 there could be the little edge they need, but he's well worth it. And if you just like to see these apprentices progress as well as they go along with it. We've got one, O'Shea McSweeney, again.
He's having
7.
a good year, isn't he?
Yeah, he's talented. He works hard, so they can be invaluable.
Yeah. All right. So there's a name to look out for as well, O'Shea McSweeney. Before we go to our staying handicapper at the Racing Post, that's his title. Nui St George for you, isn't it, Adam?
Yeah. Listen, he was obviously disappointed last time, but he's won over the trip on soft ground. I can easily see him bouncing back, and to be honest, I think it'd be fantastic for David Minisier to have a bit more of an upturn in recent days.
Yeah, it was too bad to be true at Goodwood last time, wasn't it? A track he really likes, and Prince Alex, who won that race, he had beaten back in May, so I'll make you right. He's in the one poke. Unlike Throne All, he's going to get the run of the race.
Yeah, he can be attacking from there, so I think in quite an open race, that's... but I mean, I think the favourite could be anything, that's kind of the unknown.
All right, Mr. Curiosity. Is this the one that you ended up with, the Curious Mister?
No, it wasn't, no, because he's not a horse that I've seen yet, you see. He's not a horse that come on my radar yet, because as you say, I am the Racing Post staying handicapper,
You
of
are.
course, Dave. And Mr. Curiosity is yet to run over a staying trip, of course. All of
Yeah.
his form is over shorter now.
Lightly raced, mainly on the all-weather, but he's
It's
one
very-
from one on turf.
It's very difficult for me as the staying handicapper to go and stick him in as a tip ahead of horses that I know like the back of my hand, because I know a lot of the rest of these like the back of my hand.
Such as?
Hockfield, of course, who has come up on my radar already 15 times.
You and the
this
Millman,
season.
Millman,
This is the
Millman.
first time of the afternoon.
It's probably a bad sign because I just managed to get Reach in a moonbeat.
Having said he was the best 2-year-old in Britain.
Yeah, so, and you've
Point
been
Lonsdale
flying.
backers are like, oh no, he said he's the best 2-year-old in the world.
You've been flying, and I am, but Hockfield for me is just better than these. Sometimes these Johnson runners, right? They come into races like this and they
Yeah.
get enough top weight and think, oh yeah, just better than those, isn't he? And I know he's got to carry the weight to show for it, but Johnny Pete claiming a big weight allowance off of him. He's like one of these horses, Hockfield, who runs in those big Class 2 handicaps, those really hot ones, like
Chester Cup.
Yeah, things like that.
Massive eye catcher in that. I've done that to death so far.
Yeah, this isn't one
He was
of
unlucky
those,
not
is
to
it?
give the winner a lot to think about there.
I mean, this is.
No, my
Class
worry about
3.
him is the ground. He's 1-1-2-2-3 at Chester, so this is his place. He's got 2 places from, 10 runs on soft. He always runs Oxford as well, doesn't he? Not good. He needs top of the ground, I think. He's okay on good to soft, but I think this is tacky. I would be slightly worried about the ground. Draw. Yeah, that's another thing. Of course, he's out installed 10.
I think the Orton's actually made a good point there, because I put him up before the rain came the other day, and that is just looking back at Royal Ascot. Sorry, the Sugar Cup, he didn't run great, but
Not a great going man, am I, Dave? You will know that.
you don't believe in the going.
I don't.
Neither you or the Melrose.
No, me, Melrose, and Tom Siegel are all not great going men.
And draw,
We
obviously.
generally believe that the most important thing in racing is ability, and that's not to say that if the ground is really fast or the ground is really soft, then you shouldn't slightly adjust your. But when it's like good to soft, soft in places. I mean, I think most horses should really be handling this sort of ground, and I think Hockfield will handle it. At Nui St George last time.
Nui St George.
Nui St George went too fast. Definitely went off too fast. That race at Goodwood at Prince Alex one was running a really good time, and they went too fast, the front runners, and he was one of those front runners. He went too quick up front, and you can completely ignore that run. As far as I gave him a little plus on the ledger, because I thought he ran better than his finishing position because he went too fast and did well to finish where he did. So I'll be happy to put a line through that run. He put a line through that run, he'd coming in off a couple of wins, wouldn't he?
Yeah, possibly. All right, so 2 ticks for Hochfeld, 1 for Nui St George, and Graeme thinks he's got a chance. Well, not much love for Mr. Curiosity, who's definitely been the Gamble gamble of the race. James, we'll get to you in a second. Jamie Fellows on. Jamie Spencer for
just
Charlie
combine
Fellows.
the pair
I've
of
just
them.
I like to do that. I was calling her Rachel de Bromhead throughout Cheltenham, you know, the great jockey. Hassanabad is going to be my tip in this. I would have liked slightly drier ground for Ian Williams' 6-year-old. He's going to have a big hurdle in him, I think, this year as well. Over the jumps, he's a horse I quite like. He's very eye-catching last time, albeit we haven't seen him for 105 days. I think they would have liked a little bit of drier ground. That's why he's not been so good. But Richard Kingscote's on, and he's won this twice in recent years.
He's
Ian
great
Williams.
around Chester.
Ian Williams.
And Rich Kingscote.
Yeah, it's a proper firm, isn't it? Of course, the Good Doctor's got one in this. Gabriel, the one. He ran there just yesterday, didn't he? But
Yeah, well, he did. Yeah, he had Mancini in it, the Good Doctor as well, but we pulled Mancini out, so this is his only runner. But he has a run in virtually every race at
you've got
Chester, doesn't
Super Calanistic as well. And there's Nigel Tristan Davis and Tom
he? Yeah,
Greeley.
don't see too many runners from him on the flat.
Not really. No, you don't. No, Nige doesn't down there at the hollow bottom, probably watching this, Nige, isn't he? All right. A Claire de Lune as well. James Align on this piece. Haley Turner and George Scott.
Yeah, I can see this one running okay, quite likely race in the context of the opposition, but needs to probably step up a little bit on the bare format. Race at Ripon last time perhaps wasn't the strongest. Market though, weak for Hockfeld. He's currently 6s on the exchanges. Favourite is Jamie Fellows. Mr. Curiosity, 3.8, strong in the market, lightly raced. Just the lack of turf form would be my negative if you are backing the favourite.
Yeah, absolutely. But they obviously think they've got a well-handicapped horse, don't they, of course, in the Golden Horn colours. All right, so a range of opinions then in what looks like a tricky staying handicap. 9 minutes away. Within the 10-minute barrier. That means horses will be getting ready for the Irish Champion Stakes. Cannot wait for that. Then we've got the Park Stakes over 7 furlongs. Really interesting group race there. Some up-and-comers against some solid group form. And then we've got a nice bit of time to give all your social interaction a nod out there as well. We'll go to the poll. Who wins the St Ledger, of course, at 3:35, our final race of the afternoon. Then we'll be talking about the great Sunday that's coming up as well. Snowfall, she returns as well. What a chance she must have in the art now. All right, great stuff. I can't wait to hear from you out there. Myself, Dave Orton, Adam Ryan, Graeme Rodway and James Millman trading for Betfair today in the studio. Off and away we go very shortly then at Chester. Good luck wherever you're playing. And Super Calanistic, more used to jumps. He's come out last of all and already being rode away by Tom Greeley. A difficult ride he might be having. And Hotchfeld, guys, from the outside draw, tacking right in. Surprise, surprise. Jamie Spencer doing what he does best, watching them all in. It looks like, from the one poke, Adam, Louis Saint-Georges is going to attack.
Yeah, but they're just shunning that rail a little bit as well, so it looks like the ground might have just cut up a bit for him. Just seems to be staying off that a little bit, but yeah, ideal for him. So
Well, when John
It's
Egan
simple.
won the last race, he came wide, didn't he, on the thingy, and everyone knows that John Egan is the best jockey in Chester, of course.
Is he on this?
He's not.
This is David Nolan.
No,
isn't
but
it?
I'm
It's
saying
on this.
that
Oh, I see, right.
I'm saying that the ground was on the wide outside.
Oh,
the
so
better
you're
ground's on the
expecting them to
outside.
pan down the middle of the home
Oh,
straight?
stay with it, Dave.
He got
Oh, I'm-
he
I
got
thought it
something
was.
right earlier on.
to
So
be
he's
fair, they've
just
got a nice
being cautious.
gallop there. So
They are.
I don't think that Jamie Spencer wants to be here because he came out the stalls and he was rowing away as though he wanted to lead and he just ended up at the back.
He's
from a bad
sweaty and
draw.
keen, the Fav, James. What does the exchange like about it?
Exchanges are still happy. 3.45 for Mr. Curiosity, 4.6 for our front runner, Noe St George, 6 for Hockfeld, who's had to
Yeah.
go a bit wide from the draw and a bit hard. I'm not massively happy myself.
He's gone to Liverpool, I
Made a
think,
move
Johnny
there,
Pete,
hasn't he?
isn't he, and back. But this is obviously the plan to get him up there. Johnson horses, they're never too far back. Has he covered too much ground, do you think, Ochfeld, so far? Now eyeballing yours, Adam.
yeah, just hopefully he doesn't set the leader on light there, but he just seems to have dropped off him again there now. So obviously tactics were to go forward and be positive, but unfortunately he couldn't do it.
You would say, yeah, that the leaders have probably gone too fast.
What speed are they going? Around about 34 miles per hour at the minute.
This Lewis and Jules definitely
fair.
went too fast last time out Goodwood, and Hockfeld can't go with him, so he must be going a fair lick.
The
My
main
eyes are drawn
rival-
to Hassanabad as well, James, turning in.
1,000 for Hassanabad.
What? What price? Oh, right, okay. That doesn't
You're
sound
gonna back
all
it,
right.
Dave?
So, yeah, all right, we're slightly behind
Get
here.
on, Dave.
Okay. A Claire de Lune is definitely struggling at the moment. Hassanabad then has dropped right out at the
Super
back, hasn't he?
Calanistic is the one.
Oh,
I
that's
think
a shame. He
caught your
looks
eye.
like he's gone wrong
I
there.
tell you, if
Okay.
this Hassanabad comes through and wins, this would be the shout of all
This
time.
is do not put another zero on this. I think he has actually sadly pulled up. It's
I think
super kind of
Jamie's happy anyway.
fragilistic that's coming back.
Spencer's
to the run.
happy,
Jamie
1.82.
Spencer going wide now then on the Fav. He's going low, guys, isn't he, on the machine? This is the one they like. Louis St George is still out there. Spencer doing a Chester Cup type move. Hochfeld rowing away. Gabriel the
Come
one.
on, Hockey.
He's still there as well.
Johnny Pete's pushing
Come
his
on,
He's going
way.
out a little bit. I'll tell you what, he's coming back at Claire
Yeah.
DeLuna there as well. Hochfeld.
Come
He's
on,
now
Hochfeld.
attacking under Johnny Pete. Could this finally be the big bear getting one? Mr.
Come on.
Curiosity doesn't look like he's going to see it out, does it?
Come on, Hockey.
This looks like he's going to be his big day in the sun.
going.
Is he going low?
Keep going, Hockfeld.
Yeah, he's
Oh
going.
no, what's happening now?
Oh, hang on a minute. What's
They're
the flag?
waving a
doing, yo?
flag. What
Poor
does
old
that mean?
Hassanabad, basically. They're waving. What's going on here? Mr. Curiosity coming back.
Hold on, what's this thing coming down the
This is a
outside?
mad. Well, this is a
George
Claire de
Scott's.
Lune.
A Claire de
This is a
Lune.
crazy race to watch, isn't it? A Claire de Lune's going to pick him up.
Oh.
Poor old Hochfeld. Johnny Pete can't quite get him to do it where it matters. And Hayley Turner, arriving right on the poke, has picked him
Jesus.
up. Wow, I'll tell you what, we're keeping our eyes on the exchange. We're trying to watch that as well. That was a tricky race to watch. We'll let James gather the information there. Adam, at one point, looked like the Fav had it. He then started treading water. Hochfeld went on and then gubbed at the end.
Strange race, wasn't it?
Really
It was
strange.
a really strange race. It was,
Welcome to RP Live.
yeah, but to be fair, like James said beforehand, lightly raced 4-year-old, and he's seen it out really well. No surprise that he ran over 2 miles last time.
Yeah, okay. All right, so George Scott and Hayley Turner taking out a Saturday race as well. I'll tell you what, she really got that going. It just reminds you of Kieran Fallon so much when you see her in the drive, Hayley Turner, isn't she? The old great jockey. She's very, very strong at the finish. Johnny Pete, wide trip maybe did him.
Still 10, had to get going early. Hayley on a stays 2 miles. She's timed it exactly right. A high of 27 in the run for Claire de Lune, but in the end gets there. The punters were always happy with Jamie Spencer. A low of 1.53 for Mr. Curiosity. Yet he was beat, really, wasn't he, around the home bend?
No problems with the ride though. You wouldn't have because he pulled him wide, give it every chance. You're absolutely right. Yeah,
Just didn't stay.
yeah.
And unfortunately,
G,
Yeah.
are you a bit deflated?
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely gutted.
1.01.
I can't get. I
Was
can't.
he got 101?
1.01.
We've
Somebody
seen
got-
a 101 beaten on the show. Wow,
Somebody
as
got
we
excited
bid farewell
and
to
traded
Chester.
four.
Probably for
He's right.
2021.
I mean, I'll rate that race on Monday, and I'll rate Hockfeld the winner on the
Because
Justice.
he's covered most ground and he attacked too far out,
He
did
was
he?
miles attacking out on the wide outside the whole time.
You feel robbed?
He's pushing, and then he's beaten the rest of the mile, and he's got caught by something coming from a mile off the pace.
But he certainly looks like the better grounds down the middle as well.
Yeah,
On
he
the
called
straight,
that.
You know, John Egan did that, didn't he, on
Yeah.
the beforehand as well.
Well,
so.
if you're playing, there are still 4 more races. We're not covering them at Chester. Look for someone that peels off that bend then and comes late. That may be the way to go at Chester for the rest of the afternoon. But we must build up to one of the pièce de la résistances of the flat season. It is the Irish Champion Stakes. Great memories it is. None more so for the man sitting on my left because in 2014, he was used to taking scalps, this chap, wasn't he? But the Great Gatsby took it out. One of the definitely Dad's one of his highlights of his career for sure.
Yeah, and the way he did it, and I mean, it was it was a memorable day, and I can still remember pretty much everything about it.
Did you go over?
Yeah. Myself and my dad were over there, and we went across flew across with Ryan. So
course.
very, very good day for everyone involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the kind of calibre of assistant trainer that we're talking about here. This is what
I go to Salisbury, Bath and Chepstow.
James has done some remarkable travelling this weekend, haven't you? We'll get to that. He's putting in some miles. We're delighted to have him here. Tell us what price St Mark's Basilica is then for the big one.
A solid 1.89 on exchanges for St Mark's Basilica. Tarnower 3.6. Your weak one is Poetic Flair, now 5.4 on the exchanges. They perhaps think 10 furlongs is not going to suit him. And the outsider of the 4 is Patrick Sarsfield at 55. I'm all in St Mark's Basilica. 1.86 now, £50 win, I think.
That's the trade.
The Betfair Barry account.
Are we all St Mark's Basilica? Should we just get this out of the way? Is this just a unanimous... Okay, I'm going to give this to you now, and I'm worried about it. Best horse in the world? Ratings?
No, I don't think he is.
Who's the best horse in the world?
Mishriff is the best horse in the world.
Got Tony Ennis in next weekend, haven't we? So the biggest
Mishriff
Mishriff, the Shriff, as
is
he
the
calls
best
him.
horse in the world.
Mishriff's the best horse in the world.
Yeah, but he's very good, obviously, St Mark's Basilica, and I think
Mishriff, who was beaten by St
Yeah.
Mark's Basilica. Wait for age, but it's there for a reason.
wasn't right that day, was he? Mishriff, he was evidently in need of the run, and that race wasn't played out to his strengths either.
Are we hoping that these two might meet again in the future, St Mark's Basilica? and
Hoping,
Mishriff?
but not expecting.
Oh,
They will meet again.
Oh, come on, James. I know you're down and you like to keep
Yeah,
it
man,
brief. and
the
that,
other assistant trainers just said exactly the same thing, and you don't point at him.
but fairy tales do.
yeah,
No,
but
exactly. This
he's
is a
Group 1
debutant.
assistant
Well,
trainer.
yeah.
This is a
I-
Sprint
just
Cup
changed
winning
me. I
assistant
I wouldn't get
trainer.
to deal with said individuals.
Abel Kane might yet get up there. You never know.
He might do. I'll be surprised.
He's a fast horse, isn't he, St Mark's Basilica? Like he's got a sharp turn of
What I love about this, Adam, is there's no pacemaker in here. We saw in the Eclipse 4 runners as well. He doesn't need it, does he? And Aidan's comments. Aidan, when he was being interviewed just after Judd Monty time and the International, you could tell he was gutted that he wasn't there because he said this was doing things at home that they hadn't seen for a little while.
There's no way he'd beat Mishriff that day. No way.
What, at York?
Yeah, no way. Mishriff was absolutely sensational that day.
But this is an uncomplicated 3-year-old. We're all with him. So the only surprise was yesterday that it was odds against us, I think, despite the fact that Tanawa is in there.
Is the fact that he missed the Juddmonte International a slight concern from a training perspective? He's obviously had a bit of a hold up because he missed that race, didn't he?
It was something minimal. You know, he said like it was a cut on a fetlock or something, or you know. But he probably needed a course of antibiotics to get rid of something there.
How much work do you think he'd have missed? Not much.
A few days. You know,
the market would tell a tale, I reckon, on that, wouldn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah.
Fair worries. He is a little bit weak compared to when we first had the market. 1.95 St Mark's. So they're getting more towards even money. 3.4 Tanawa, 5.6 Poetic Flair. Bit of money for Patrick Sarsfield. He's now 44, the outside of 4.
Let's get some socials up. I can see the chat boxes are going mental, by the way. I'm keeping an eye on that this afternoon. Great to have you all out there. Steve McGowan says, Poetic Flair for me. One of the horses of the season. Tough nut, isn't he?
Brilliant. And the great thing about this race, I mean, you literally got 3 of the greatest traders of all time as well. So it's a really interesting race on that side. I think Poetic Flair might just get outstayed. If it turns into a sprint, it brings him in.
It does.
If it turns into a stay,
Could
it brings Tanawa in.
Poetic Flair. This is Kevin Manning. I can't remember seeing a better jockey riding around Leopardstown than Kevin Manning in my time. He's absolutely superb at Leopardstown. I mean, superb in general.
Sure,
One more
Egan's
social before
right
I go in. Come on, who else is out there? Let's have a look. We could have gone on about that. Paul Bakewell, good to have you back. Lay of the day, St Mark's Basilica. Wish you well with that, Paul. Listen, we're all agreeing, so the penalty's on. And out they bounce. Now, the outsider, Patrick Sarsfield, a horse that does like to race prominently, doing the honourable thing under Deco McDonough and going on. There is a bit of pace in the race. We'll get to James and see how the exchange has reacted to that, because Poetic Flair, full of himself in second. St Mark's Basilica, perfectly placed in third. And Tanawa, despite the fact she's a peak mile 4 horse, she'll be happy with this. Colin Keane anchored out the back. James Millman.
Yeah, market stayed the same. The only one that's shortened is our front runner, Patrick Sarsfield, who's now 30s.
30s, all right. So despite the fact he's got a freebie up front, he's going to get picked up by...
St Mark's Basilica. I don't think he's going too fast, do you, Dave? It's hard to tell, isn't it? I mean, he's obviously got to make it a test to have any chance. Patrick
the great
Sarsfield.
side-on angle look at Leopardstown. I'll tell you what, Poetic Flair is a
gallop, isn't it?
bruiser, isn't he?
It's not slow, is it? But
No.
It's a fair gallop, isn't
And he's out to 6.4 Poetic Flair. Perhaps racing a little bit.
I think a little bit too
easier.
enthusiastic over the trip, isn't he? So could this be the big head-to-head we're going to see between Tanawa
It's quite
and St Mark's
interesting.
Basilica?
He's got Tanawa behind St Mark's Basilica because you thought St Mark's Basilica was the turn of foot horse who would come and pick them off late. So he's going to try and pick him off.
In the Eclipse, from memory, he went quite high in running because he wasn't the last
Took
off
a
the
little while
bridle.
to pick up.
So we're going to find out then as they come into this very famous turn on the far side at Leopardstown. The one thing that strikes me, Adam, when you look at the side on, he's quite small, St Mark's Basilica, isn't he? Or maybe Poetic Flair is just dwarfing him.
I think he's in proportions, because I can remember seeing him as a yearling, and he's magnificent. I think you're right with Poetic Flair's looks a big bruiser.
He is a slugger, isn't he? Yeah, Patrick Sarsfield,
I'd be happy enough that Ryan is there now.
Yeah, I think he is as well. Now, Colin Keane's got the target on his back, James Millman.
Yeah, no excuses for St Mark's Basilica. Ryan's pulled him out, but the leader's actually quickened from the front end.
Yeah, he's not a bad horse, Patrick Sarsfield. Now, all of a sudden, here's off the bridle. What price has he gone? All the way out to 7-2, St Mark's Basilica. Poetic Flair, will Tanawa come over the top? This is where we're expecting the turbo to come in. What a tussle this is.
A great
Poetic
race.
Flair does not know when he's beaten. He's keeping on. Tanawa just lacking the speed. St Mark's Basilica having one more crack. Will he get there under Ryan Moore? St Mark's Basilica's got up.
Oh,
wow, what a horse this is. Tanawa right on his heels. It came right off the far rail. That's the biggest surprise. Poetic Flair is on an absolute barnstormer. Will go down the panel. He showed some attitude there, didn't he? James Millman, he went big.
Yeah, he's hung right across the track of St Mark's Basilica in that contest. Didn't go particularly big in the run, though, because he was always looked like he was going to make the run in or get home in front. Just 2.56 in the run. St Mark's Basilica. It's Poetic Flair. He's been gutsy on the inside, but whether there is still an issue with St Mark's Basilica, because he's never hung like that right across the track.
It's got to be. He looked in a bit of trouble. Is that why he went big? We saw it at Sandown, though. He hit that flat spot as well, didn't he? This is some horse to put it out the far like that.
Yeah, he's very good. What a race that was as well. A fantastic race. 3 proper Group 1 horses all going head to head. And I thought Poetic Flare had him. Has he just got outstayed? It's hard to say. I think Poetic Flare's stayed the trip well enough. And he's a very good horse, isn't he? Once he gets that turbo going, St Mark's Basilica, nothing can live with him.
You've got to take your hat off to Patrick O'Brien, Joe Patrick O'Brien, of course, and Patrick Sarsfield, because they ensured this was not going to be a Mickey Mouse race. This was a great spectacle, Adam, wasn't it?
It was. I think that is a sign of a true champion. You know,
Yes.
Probably wasn't at his best, but arguably it could be one of his best performances because he's had to dig deep. Fair play to Poetic.
He's beaten a dual, no, a classic winner, of course, a St James's Palace winner. Tanara and the Arc, we'll talk about her in a second. Big run, I think. The optimal Mile 2 horse has come out on top, G.
Yeah, and he is very, very good. I think where he stands in the pecking order is now, that's where you're going with him, isn't it? How good is he in comparison to some of the other great horses around? We've got the likes of Palace Pier, the likes of Misriff, as we've already said. Does he come above them? Does he come under them? He's good. Would be a great race, wouldn't it, if they all lined up?
Oh, listen, Champions Day. Come on, the Shriff versus St Mark's Basilica Mark 2. We want to see it.
We want to see it. Like I said before, doubtful. Actually, you were right, 5.6. He did hit when he started hanging right-handed. Tanoa, for me, she's kind of boosted her profile in defeat today because she's taken on the Colts. 1.48 she hit in running, and you'd imagine stepping up in 2 furlongs, she's only going to improve.
It's a massive run. Absolutely. We'll get to the Breeders' Cup winner Tanara in a minute, but Genghis 28 says, well, that was some race when they got going, isn't it? It was really exciting. If you're playing in running, did you wait and get any of that Mark's Basilica? That's the thing about Exchange. That's the beauty of it. They go big. You can take an opinion. Poetic Flair, we'll get to him. What a season he's had. Epitomises his trainer. Tanara, let's talk about him. But Jesus says, that's horsepower. Absolutely. That is a serious horse. They've needed the colt as well, haven't they? They've got the fillies. They've needed that middle distance colt horse. Here he is.
Yeah, fantastic. I think, like you say, Tanawa, fair play. You know, taking him on at his optimum. I think that's a massive step forward for her going forward.
And to try and beat him for a turn of foot as well shows you what they think of her, doesn't it?
Yeah. Be interesting to see where they'd go with St Mark's after this. Really interesting.
We're going to find out, of course, in your members section around about 6 o'clock. There is a stewards' inquiry now, which he's just had a little hang, hasn't he?
Tanoa was second, though.
Is that a bit dramatic? Come on, James. This is your moment. You love this.
In England, he would be chucked out now, the way the rules have been.
No way.
What are you on about?
The way they've changed this year.
Look at how far he's taken her Tanoa right across the track.
He's almost pointing that way, Ryan, isn't he, a little bit?
At the line, he really does wipe her out. Like, if she'd been able to go in between Poetic Flare and St Mark's Basilica, you'd have to argue that she would have had a clear run and would nearly have won. So in Ireland, they're probably less likely to reverse it. But let's say if it was a UK race, I would be back in Tanoa.
If they reversed it, it's the most ridiculous.
She's never got within half a length of him, has she? But how much has she lost,
How could
Adam?
she really get into half a length?
If you were watching this with Dad, and this is one of the, and you were on the winner, or let's put it, actually, let's flip it and say you were on the runner-up, would you be going, get in that stewards and do your talking, Colin Keane?
I don't know, because we've lost the race this year. And see, we've gone from one extreme to the other. You know, they never used to do anything about it. Now they're changing the results left, right and centre.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem is there's no consistency. You go to France, you know straight away where you stand. I think that's the issue we've got with the rules as it is at the minute.
We need to find consistency then, that's the thing. But I mean, I'd be amazed if he got throughout. But
in Ireland, I'd be surprised. But say if that race was in the UK, the way Goodwood, there was an amateur riders race where Sophie Smith didn't even touch the other horse and just carried Brodie Hampson across. That one got disqualified. And Brian has taken a fair bit of ground away from Tanoa. They'll be... Colin Keane will come in frustrated.
Similar to the Commonwealth Cup, wasn't
it? The win distance is a fair bit in the end, but that is because Tanoa couldn't literally get upside him because she was being dragged right across the track.
4 runners only in the Irish Champion Stakes. We only had that in the Eclipse as well. What finishes we have been... treated to. It doesn't matter, does it? You get the class there, the Green will rise. That is definitely one of the best finishes of the season, isn't it?
Oh, that was one of the races of the season, wasn't it? 3 top class horses. I wonder, there's a camera car alongside. I wonder if that's why they've ended up drifting that far right.
Really? You think they're having a look at it?
Possibly.
Ryan Moore's comments are going to be very interesting indeed, aren't they? All right, Patrick Sarsfield. I'm
Well, you
really
see,
happy with his run as well. He'll go to France
I always
for a
think
Group
that
2.
Ryan's not the man you would want on your side if you were in a stewards, because he don't say much, does he?
Well, I think
say much,
he's.
but
I don't know
it's
about
pretty
that.
So what he
That's
does
what
say, you
he'd
listen
Well, I
to.
think didn't he once famously call out Oshie and said basically he
He
got.
wasn't strong enough to hold one of Ed Dunlop.
I think when Ryan gets into the stewards, he must feel terribly at home, mustn't he? And it's just all pours out of him, basically, doesn't it? That's the place it comes. There was a great picture in the week after they had that tussle on that aforementioned Doncaster race that Frankie tweeted. And it wasn't just people saying, great ride, Frankie. It was like, Ryan's smiling. You know, it was like, there is obviously a very different side to him, isn't there? So, listen, he's the top man out there. He's proved it there. Listen, he looked beaten, St Mark's Basilica. The Exchange did not tell anything else but that. 9-2 he touched in running. What price did Poetic Flare go?
You
Really
see the
low?
car there.
Poetic Flare, 1.4 was Tarnower, and it's closed now, but I think it's about 2.1 Poetic Flare.
So
I think
never under evens.
he was unlucky because he likes a battle. In the end, Ryan's miles away from him. I think he would have been closer if he'd had a horse to really eyeball him in the closing stage.
Do you think Kevin Manning's like, where are they going?
Yeah, look at the angle now. They are going
We're
diagonally.
watching the
across
reverse here in the studio.
The photographers, and they're going to get wiped out in a minute.
Yeah, look, they're all having a run, aren't they?
There's a
Hang on,
brave
whoa.
one there. There's a brave one. Look, he's standing his ground.
Yeah, I got the shot. Probably Pat Healy, isn't it, over there? All right, great stuff. Listen, it doesn't disappoint this flat season, does it?
He's not smiling.
It keeps on. Ryan, just give a little nod there. Look, a very serious
That's not a
nod
happy-
to the lads.
I know he's not particularly happy on many occasions, but
He looks rather serious. But this is the horse that they've been waiting for, this middle distance colt for a long time. It's not happened in derbies for them, really. We're going to see in the St Ledger, of course. Can we take it out? Paul Smith. Good to see him over there, Aidan. We'll get all the comments for you. From around about 6 o'clock, all the reports are written, ready to go. Your digital edition, of course, 9 o'clock each night. This weekend, it's absolutely unmissable stuff. We've got Sunday to go as well at the Curragh. Does it get any better? I don't know about that. Longchamp as well. Listen, keep it coming in. We've got the Park Stakes coming up. We've got to go to Doncaster now. We'll keep picking the bones out of that. We can see Roger Varian happy to be interviewed, of course. He took the Champagne Stakes. He has got Lana Cash in this, James Millman. I thought certain to go off favourite. Is that the case on the exchanges?
no. Yes, actually it is now. Wasn't first thing this morning. 3.55 Lana Cash. 3.95 is the Black Cap Dania. 4 is Glorious Journey. 8.6 Dubai. 13s I think Mike Runnicke, River Master, and Eldest Us at 30 is the outsider. But Lana Cash, I'm a little bit concerned about the ground. One run last year on the back end, basically pulled up, and they said he couldn't go on heavy ground. It's not that kind of surface today, but I thought he might be vulnerable in the back of a relatively quick return from the August debut behind Sacred, where he was 22-1. So I was going to go on the place market on the exchanges and
Get the trade on, my man.
lay Lana Cash for a place, because I think if he does disappoint, he'll disappoint badly. So £50 lay for a place on Lana Cash, 2.02.
Oh, I like this. So basically, you've got a big target on the Fav, and you've got some solid group horses running for you.
Exactly. Glorious Journey, loves 7 furlongs. He always runs his race.
Yeah.
Dania, sometimes Jim Crowley gets it wrong and chooses the wrong shake hand down runner. So you've got 2 good run for you. And I think River Master might run, if he's on a going day, might go close.
Okay, I can see that Mark's Basilica's trimmed into 2-1 favourite now, by the way, for the Champion Stakes. Arc still 10-1. Unlikely to see him going there. Tanawa. Does she win the Arc now? Can she put it up to Snowfall?
Paul Keeley says yes.
Paul Keeley's saying that Tanawa is the Arc winner.
We've seen the Arc winner.
There you go. Keels is getting involved, and he's currently on holiday, but can't stop him from watching racing and tweeting, that's for sure. All right, let's go down. I think Glorious Journey as well. Let's just get this out the way. This looks like perfect racing. Really surprised he's not run at Doncaster before. Track looks absolutely perfect. You think he's the most likely winner, Adam Ryan, if I'm right in reading your mind, but you are taking a flyer.
Glorious Journey is the yardstick. It's wide open. He's going to run his race. I've gone Rhythm Master. Good 4th in the Jersey. He was 3rd, I think, in the pre-morning last year.
He was.
Goodwood over a mile, maybe he didn't stay, maybe the track, maybe...
I put him up that day, he ran terribly.
Too bad to be true, and I think maybe on this ground, in an open contest, at the prices, I know he's coming in a little bit, but he could just be one now to have a bit of fun with.
For Richard Defahi and the Dance family, 3-year-old took this out last year. Of course, Wichita, they've got a good record in this race. Limato, of course, won this as a 3-year-old as well. It's a proper 7-furlong race, this. G.
Yeah, I really struggle to find an angle in this race. It's what I call well, I don't call it. People call these races trappy races.
7 furlong group races, basically, because you've got horses that there isn't a Group 1 a 7 furlong race in Britain, is there? So your horses that try to run over the mile, the specialists over 7 furlongs look like they're not the classiest horses.
The best horse in the race on form is Dania, who won last time at Ascot, but that is handicap form, but it was off a pretty lofty mark, so RPR of 117, I think, which is setting the standard.
You've nailed that one.
He's rated better on RPRs than Lancash, but Lancash is the choice of Jim Crowley. Lancash has been entirely campaigned in group and listed races since his debut when he won at Ascot, which suggests they hold him in high regard. The fact that Crowley is riding him suggests that he thinks he's better than Dania, but yet Dania is the form horse. So for me, that really clouds the picture between those two horses. I would be inclined to stick with Jim Crowley's view, and if he's choosing Lancash, I think Lancash will probably beat Dania. But neither of those has got any group wins to their name, whereas Glorious Journey, as Adam said, is the solid yardstick in the race.
I would make him favourite.
He's a group winner, so you know that if those two aren't up to it, he will be. And then Dubai is a group winner as well. So for me, it's a really tricky race in which I could see any one of those 4 winning.
Yeah, okay, all right. A tricky race then. Oh, This Is Us. What a year he has had, taking some big scalps as well, but it's hard to see the 8-year-old really coming out on top in a tactical race. He's the outsider. Rhythm Master for Adam Ryan will hopefully bounce back. We don't like Lancash in the studio, despite the fact that Big Rog variant is on a double. Jim Crowley as well. Good to see Jim back in the saddle after that perler he had in the week that forced him to miss a couple of winners on the second day of the meeting. All right, last couple going in. Penultimate race here on RP Live. Keep your comments coming in, because after this race, plenty of time to chew the racing fat, and we're keeping an eye on that stewards' inquiry. Don't you worry, over at Leopardstown as well. The guys in the gallery will not let anything go amiss there. It's going to be some paper tonight. I'm really looking forward to that. We'll get all the quotes, of course, not just the winning horses, but the beaten horses as well. Unmissable stuff. All the previews of tomorrow's racing as well. We're going to give you a sizzling preview of the Flying Five coming up. All right, who's that going in? That's Dania, isn't it?
Very sweaty, isn't it?
Very sweaty. All right, they're in the boxes. Good luck, guys, whether you're playing in the Park Stakes. And they are off, and they are running. And, This Is Us adopting out the back with Dubai. That's interesting. Rhythm Master going on, Adam. What do you reckon about this? I quite like that.
Yeah, just maybe change of tactics,
let him stride.
freshen up a little bit and let him stride on. He seems happy enough, but obviously now Dania has gone on and setting a good gallop at this point.
Yeah, Lancash a bit sweaty as well, G.
Yeah, he's got a bit warm and they seem to be going a good pace. So if you were on Glorious Journey or Dubai out the back, you wouldn't be completely out of a chance.
Yeah, James Millman, if you're 4 horses ahead of Glorious Journey in the 7 furlong race, you're going on his pace.
Yeah, 3.2, both Glorious Journey and Lancash. The leader, Dania, is out to 4.4.
Okay, all right then. Run about the halfway stage. I know This Is Us in Dubai out the back at the minute. Rhythm Master then. Let's hope he can bounce back today. I tell you what, he's going quite sweetly, isn't he, for PJ McDonald? Here comes Glorious Journey with his run. Lancash now looking in a bit of trouble. Daniel, will he have been softened? Glorious Journey on the far side. James Doyle and Dubai sensing an upset as well. He's going to try and come through horses. I know This Is Us not done with. Now Glorious Journey goes on at the 2 furlong pole. Rhythm Master can't respond. Lancash doing his best. Dubai, bit of a messy run. Hanging slightly Glorious Journey. It's the 2 stablemates then. It's going to be Charlie Appleby, a 1-2. I think we can say that. Lancash, James has got that train in the bag. But Glorious Journey, he's absolutely straightforward and lovely, isn't he? He just never knows how to run below a certain Racing Bows rating. It's proved good enough in the Kazoo Park Stakes then. He goes on a 1-2 for Charlie Appleby. Got a bit messy for Dubai in the back. Rhythm Master ran okay. Lancash, I think we've just had his limitations exposed. James Millman, when did they know about the winner?
We were always happy. 4.9 was the high he traded in running, bearing in mind the Betfair SP was 3.95. No one was ever too concerned. They went quite hard in front, Dania, and that one never went too short. And in the end, Glorious Journey, just solid, consistent horse of the race. We knew what mark he would run to. It was whether anything could surpass him, and clearly not.
Yeah, gee, that's what we kind of wanted to see with Glorious Journey.
Yeah, it was always going to be if Dania and Lancash weren't up to the grade, he was going to be the most likely winner. And we know his level. He's not a sort of exciting horse, is he? When you see these Group 2 races, you kind of want an exciting winner. And he's a lovely, genuine horse, but he's not top class.
Again, he's been all over the place as well. He's won in July Cups and stuff, hasn't he, over the years? And again, 7 furlong specialists. You feel for them a little bit. He's hung a bit, Adam, hasn't he? But I don't know, didn't cause any. We're not going to see
he was well clear. When he has drifted. But yeah, he was the yardstick. Like you say, if everyone else had to prove something, he's run to his usual mark and was the most likely winner, really. I think Dubai's won a great race.
Was he a little bit unlucky not to have had a proper crack at him?
Yeah, but I think he's a horse that's probably going to be lined up for the carnival again. He seems to. Everything sort of plans around that, doesn't it? So he's run well.
They went too hard, didn't they? I think we could say that. Daniel's definitely done too much, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was a bit free in front as well, wasn't he?
These handicappers at these, Buckingham Palaces and your Bunbury Cups and stuff. It is a jump, isn't it?
It's a different style of race.
Exactly.
Isn't it? It's a 6-runner Trappy listed race, or Group 2 as that one is, and as opposed to a big 18.
Paul Keeley's always talking about that over jumps and on the flat as well. He says it's a completely different thing going from the hustle and bustle. You make these horses experience getting used to rough racing, then they go in little trappy sort of stop-start races. You catch them out of them, I guess.
Yeah, you've got horses that you can get beat in a 4-runner race, and then they go and win a heritage handicap, and it's completely different. And it was funny there a few years ago when everyone was saying there's not much difference between handicappers and group horses in sprints. There is on a day-to-day basis. It's just that everything happens over 60 seconds, so you don't have time to if something does go wrong.
That's quite an interesting angle, isn't it? I think about 10 years ago, that was a very, very moot point, wasn't it? I think a lot of people concentrating on the fact that if you had a handicapper, at the top level in sprint, you could have a say in a Group 1 sprint.
Yeah.
Is that since the sprint division has been worked on here a little bit, that's changed slightly? The Commonwealth Cup, obviously, one of the great inceptions of the last 10 years.
Yes,
Britain has now got a world-class sprint division, isn't it?
Well, that's a problem. I mean, when you didn't have anything for the 3-year-olds, you're either having to sell them on because people didn't want to wait a year for it, or you'd have to chuck them straight in the deep end against all the horses, and then you'd be waiting for them to come through. And so sometimes it was better to have them come in through the ranks as a handicapper and give them that time to mature. Now we've got the Commonwealth Cup. I mean, was it maybe in the first 3 years that the champion sprinter was a 3-year-old? Says it all. We've actually aimed a programme at them now. Listen, you work a genuine handicapper against a Group 1 sprinter. There's a big difference. But the problem is, over a sprint distance, things happen like that. One misstep and game over. Over a mile 2, mile 4, well, if something does go wrong, you've got time to come in. So invariably, it's a different ballgame.
You can see where we're warming up to here, can't we? I said we'd get questions in for Adam as well, and the panel as well. We've got plenty of time now. Our final race, of course, 3:35, is the big one. It's the classic. It's the St Leger. Right. Okay, socials will be coming up. Don't worry. No, loads of you are out there. You're trying to get them in. Some of you I can see are having frustrating days. Others have been knocking it out the park. What a Saturday it is, leading us up. But we've got the wonderful day, of course. It's the Irish St Leger tomorrow at the Curragh, one of a couple of Group 1s, sort of 4 Group 1s, isn't it? We've got the Moyglare and the National Stakes as well. So it's a sizzling Sunday. You can't be anywhere. Special Sunday. Now it's the Flying 5 as well, of course, over the 5 furlongs. And we do have a defending champion in that. Now, Glass Slippers, who's a fan? Are you all big fans out there? The Breeders' Cup winner? I was. And when she won the Breeders' Cup, I remember chatting to you that night, of course. It was a special night. She won this last year. She is one of certainly the top female sprinters that I can remember in this country. The track and trip look absolutely perfect tomorrow. Let's first of all talk about her chances tomorrow. She's up against the Nunthorpe winner, Winter Power. You said to me in the week it's going to be a great tussle between the two. We've got Dragon Symbol in there as well. A couple of Irish horses like Romantic Proposal that loves the place. Gustav Weston as well. This is a serious sprint race, isn't it?
No disrespect to last year, but I think it's probably a stronger renewal. Winter Power was extremely impressive at York. I think Dragon Symbol, the track's going to be more likely to suit here than York and that. So, and obviously, the English horses bring the better form into the race, but the Irish horses, they're certainly improving, and could be anything. So, I think it's a great tussle.
You're being nice and modest about it at the moment, Mr. Ryan, but we think you've got the right horse in the race. You think you've got the right horse in the race as well. Tom Eves, regular rider, was able to go over as well. She had a slightly slow start to 2021. She was in the Diamond Jubilee, wasn't she? She didn't make it. She then went to the King George, which was deemed as Batash's now send-off, if you like. But she ran an absolute perler in that to be third. You must have been thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, 2 down. She was the last thing off the bridle. And, you know, I think it was, 7-8 months between runs, so yeah, she was entitled to just
I said
just
to you
go,
she
just
needs
went
her
through.
first run.
Yeah.
You said she doesn't.
No, she doesn't, because, I mean, the race last year when she ran the King's Stand and everyone sort of half said she ran poorly. And,
Well, she was drawn on the wrong side,
drawn on the
wasn't
wrong side. I think that day she'd have finished second if she was drawn right. She had 9 months in between runs, so this time she was entitled to come on for a run. You know, it was a longer period in between. But no, she's in great order, and she's one of the horses of a lifetime. You know, Triple Group 1 winner. You know, everything suits her over there, so you know it was the logical step.
Yeah, okay. And so she's A1. Everything's gone right. Travel's been sorted for a while. Dad going over tomorrow?
Yeah, Dad's going over with the owners again, so you know hopefully they can enjoy another day out with her, like they did in Keeneland.
Yeah, let's talk about Keeneland because, of course, ordinarily you might have been over there as well. And, of course, it was during a global pandemic. Dermot Well didn't get over there to see Tanawa either. It was a tricky time, but Dad managed to go. So he was the only one that went. So what was it like that night? Because, I mean, I was texting you and we were, you know, I could tell you were thrilled. You tell me that your wife's got some footage of you as well shouting in front of the telly. We'll get that on the show if we possibly can. But was it a little bit odd that you had to watch from afar in such uncertain times?
Yeah, but you know, I was delighted that the right person was over there. You know, if you're ever going to do that, listen, it was a memory in his.
Have you booked your ticket for this year, or?
Well, we'll have to wait and see for that. But you know, yeah, it was a bit surreal, the whole thing going on. It was, and obviously Tom. You know,
It was a hell of a ride as well.
And he's
wasn't it?
engaged to my sister as well, so it was a real, obviously, family affair. And yeah, I mean, geez, he gave her an unbelievable ride.
Oh, I see. So did that happen after the?
No, they've been engaged for a few years, so obviously it's a real family angle.
You can come in the family now. You've given us the Breeders' Cup winner. No, maybe not. Okay, so it's a family affair as well. Absolutely fantastic. We love her. We know you love her as well. So when was the decision made to keep her in training?
To be fair, after speaking to Terry and Margaret Hallcroft, they were pretty adamant straight away, really, if everything was right and she was right. But you know, it's when she came back into training, she showed she's still as happy as ever and all the abilities there. Then obviously we said, well, you know, she's good to go. If there was ever a sign that maybe she wasn't the same sort of filly, then she'd have been retired. But she's in great order. And
But is she going to go to Del Mar? It's over 5 furlongs, isn't it?
listen, let's get tomorrow out of the way first and everything.
All being well.
It would probably be unlikely with the sharp 5. You know, obviously last year was 5.5. Keeneland, you get a bit more ease in the ground potentially. Del Mar, round the bend, 5 furlongs. You know.
Yeah, because Starman's trainer, of course, Ed Walker last week said it's unlikely because of the sort of test it is.
We'd have more chance with Emiratiana.
Does she work with Emiratiana?
No, I mean...
Is Emiratiana going to go to the British?
Potentially. It's an idea.
Oh, breaking, okay.
The problem with Emiratiana is that he needs quick ground. So obviously the logical steps would be champion sprint, but...
You'd be looking for magpies if you got
So,
rain softened ground over there.
But no, that's
California.
You know, that's something that obviously my dad mentioned during the week, but we'll have to wait and see for that. But yeah, like glass
What a
slippers.
nice problem to have, AG. Now, are you going to pour scorn on glass slippers, or are we going to get Adam back and after a compliment from you?
Oh, I'd love to say she's only good, but I love her. You know, I do love glass slippers. I think she's a real star. And I think she'll win tomorrow as well.
Oh, there we go. So, see, everyone's friends now all of a sudden. She tries, didn't she? Last year in the race, she looked beaten, didn't she?
Yeah, but they went very hard as well there. You know, there was a lot of pace up front, and you know she was, and she really dug deep. And I think she's one of these. She probably the ideal trip was the 5.5 furlongs at in Keeneland. You know, so hopefully everything is run to suit. There's no hard luck stories, and I think we've got a great race on for tomorrow.
Yeah, and you could wheel out all the cliches. Of course, she's in stall 8.
Yeah, just. If that TV comes back on at Chester. Nope.
No, yeah,
I think we might have just had a winner.
Did you have a winner? I think so. It's just Chester. Do you know what? Come on, let's have a look at this. We're watching Chester now. Poor old Adam. I think you've come to say, oh no. We're watching. Adam's desperately trying to get a winner on the show. 7 runners. You got 4 runners tomorrow, of course. She's obviously the big hope. You're in 8. Winter Power's in 4. You're hoping that Winter Power does what she did at Nunthorpe. Stiffer track, G. If she does that, she's going to come 5th, isn't she? That's what I said yesterday.
Oh, she's real fast talk to Winter Power. Absolutely love her as well.
SDS, does he know how to do
Really
anything
good,
else?
but,
We'll not let Adam answer that one. He's got.
I don't see her holding glass slippers late. I think glass slippers
way.
will run her down.
A dragon symbol the danger then, James?
Yeah, he's supposed to run a lot in quite a short space of time, and I just worry whether he's ready for a complete and utter break. Class-wise, he's good, but I just think he started back in January on Neil Weather. Your filly's only had 1 run, so they're completely different spectrums of the freshness scale. So that would be my worry with Dragon Simba. But yeah, cracking race to look forward to. And as Adam said, the Flying Five had actually been, in recent years, quite a weak group race to target. But this year, you've got a trio of British Raiders. That I think the miles ahead of the Irish ones that are in it. But it's a very, very strong contest.
Yeah, the one that I keep getting word about is Mooney Easter.
Yeah.
Lots of talk about this Mooney Easter being completely laid out for the race. This will be the race where you really see it run really well. So just from what's coming off the grapevines, I get the feeling that Mooney Easter might be the biggest danger.
The Jack Davidson horse under Wayne Lorden, whose recent win is working out, drawn 2 off glass slippers as well. But let me tell you, this could be an in-running race, James, couldn't it? Because she went pretty high last year.
Flat out. Mooney Esther, anyway, Mooney Esther, though, it was heavy ground, I suppose, but at one time she did come over. The form wasn't near as good as what she's been doing in Ireland. Is that because the sprinters that she's been running over in Ireland aren't as good as ours? So she looks good against her Irish counterparts, but when she comes up against stronger British opposition, I think she might struggle, but she is clear number 1 of the Irish contenders.
Yeah, the Brits will be bidding for a 6th win in the last 11 years then. Glass slippers, you got the word here. Exciting stuff. 2:55 tomorrow at the Curragh. Do not miss it. The first of 4 Group 1s coming your way. All right, we've still got a Group 1, of course, coming. We've got a classic coming for you. It is the St Leger. So we start ramping it up. Should we start getting the socials pouring in? Why not? Result stands, as you probably know right now. The gallery guys were in my ear. We're not surprised about that. We were deep in chat with Adam, but result stands as St Mark's Basilica is your Irish champion. Winner, of course, Tanawa. Does it win the Arc? Let us know. Let's get these socials built up then. And we'll get a word about the market, please, if you don't mind, James Millman, on the oldest classic.
Well, it's all one horse, isn't it? Hurricane Lane, 1.89 in the exchanges. Next in is a Derby runner-up, Mojo Star, 9.2. And then it's pretty open, to be honest. Bayador don't have a clear number 1. Actually, it's Ottoman Emperor's 13s. 14.5 for high definition. I was surprised they supplemented and wasted perhaps more money on him. 15s for interpretation. Salukan 22s.
That's what you get on this show, you see, Adam. Adam's like, he didn't just say that, did he? It's not just a bear that says it, of course. Wasted the money then on high definition, Saints Gels.
65 grand.
Well, they've just won 200 and odd
Yeah,
thousand euros. I think they'll be okay with that.
Tiddlywinks to them, as I was once told by
change.
someone very close to them. Okay, all right. Of course. So, Hurricane Lane, are you with? Are you against? What's the trade?
I'm sticking with Hurricane Lane. I'm actually going to go in the place market because there's 2 that I think will be in the places. Interpretation is one. Holly Doyle, an interesting jockey booking. He has been a bit of a slow learner, but he keeps progressing every race. He's won his last 3 contests. I think Holly Doyle might suit him. I think she'll be quite forceful. And we've seen at Doncaster this week that some of those on the front end have kept on going. So I thought at 3.25 in the place market, I'll have £25 on him. And the other one will be our Derby runner-up, who had an absolutely horrible time in the Irish Derby. Completely honestly forgive that effort. I didn't rate the Derby form at the time, but Adair has obviously confirmed that it was no fluke, those 2 that went round the inside, and I think he's got a cracking chance of giving Richard Hanlon another placed representative in the St Leger. But for me, Hurricane Lane is going to be very, very hard to beat. Stamina is the only slight question mark, so I'm just going to put 2 in the place market and watch them home and probably see Hurricane Lane produce the best St Leger performance we've seen in recent years.
Will he be the best recent winner that we've had? The best. I don't want to say the best ever because that's ridiculous, of course. But it was basically that year when Capri won, wasn't it? With Crystal Ocean in the race, proper animal. Stradivarius was beaten into the race in 3rd. It started to come back into fashion, G, didn't it? Quite a lot.
Yes, and there's been good horses win it, hasn't there? Conduit was very good, wasn't he? Who won it many years ago now. If he turns up in his best form, he's going to win. That's the bottom line. But it is the St Leger. It's a weird test, isn't it? 1 mile, 6.5 furlongs for 3-year-olds. And there's been some weird things happening in the race in the past. I mean, there's been a lot of short price horses beaten in the race. Honolulu, Rewilding was beaten in short price. Camelot, of course.
Camelot.
Remember Idaho fell over?
Yes.
Seated rider when he was
did.
like 4 to
Jamie
6.
Heffernan.
Now, obviously, he might well have gone on one, but I just think taking a short price about Hurricane Lane doesn't make much sense in this race.
Okay, all right. So what is the play?
For me, it's Sir Lucan.
Did this make the Sizzlers, Sir Lucan?
Yeah,
He did.
it
Yeah, so this is actual.
Yeah, the
trade.
first two ran terribly, so hopefully this one.
Keels,
They weren't too warm.
come on back whenever you're ready.
But yeah, I like Sir Lucan. Of all those runners that have been running in the Gordon and the Great Voltigeur, they're all sort of running, aren't they? Ottoman and the Mediterranean is running. But he is, he travels really well, Sir Lucan, and then just looks slow when he comes under pressure. He just runs on at the one pace. I think this trip might well suit him. And I uncovered an interesting stat about Aidan O'Brien's runners. I mean, Aidan O'Brien's like the world's worst trainer of horses in cheap pieces first time out. Like when he sticks cheap pieces on first time, it's awful. You know, it's like 6%.
Rule of the world fans would of course suggest that you can win a derby in them.
No, I'm not saying he's bad at putting cheap pieces on. I'm saying first time out, they don't win in cheap pieces. I mean, he's 6% first time out, but second time out in cheap pieces, they're 30%.
That's weird, isn't it?
So his horses, for some apparent reason, they don't run well first time out in cheap pieces, but then the next time they put them on, they just improve significantly. And of course, Sir Lucan wore first time cheap pieces last time when he ran in the Voltigeur, and he jumped the path, he looked green. I just wonder how much he'd had those cheap pieces on at home. Maybe they just slap them on later.
He was the last off the bridle, of course, in the Gordon Stake. There does seem to be a... Oh, why are you smiling? You can't help yourself, can you?
Do you think if you got a 6% strike rate with cheap
They
pieces...
just popped them on in the paddock and just thought...
Well, do you think they work...
They even can't put them on, they're probably back to front or something.
Do you think they work them in them, though?
The horsemen are ganging up on the journalist here.
What do you think?
I can't talk for Biodoyle, but I know if we've got one in cheap pieces, they'll always work in them before they get declared.
They've got to work in them, haven't they? No, you don't.
See,
So there you go.
Wow.
Listen. We're
Great
all
one.
learning. Every day's a
Great
school
one,
day,
Mrs. Trainer.
James. Every day's a school day.
But why is it so bad at 6% and then 30% second?
He's very weak in the betting, though, Sir Lucan, isn't he? Is this because Frankie, who of course rode him in the Gordon Stakes behind, Ottoman Emperor, Johnny Murtagh, first one in a classic for Johnny.
Probably because I just tipped it, Dave. And I
No,
can't
He
see
was their ledger horse, wasn't he, Sir Lucan? And he's disappointed a couple of times.
Wordsworth probably looked like it, but he's disappointed, isn't he?
I
And
mean,
now this guy.
high definition's a funny one because he had the world at his feet at the start of the year, and he's just failed to live up to that. If you're backing him here, you're backing it because of the Aidan factor, and they've gone to this expense and everything. And yes,
Does Frankie have to ride him because they've supplemented? Do you think Frankie's might have been thinking, well, Sir Lucan give me a good feel, you know?
But do
I
they
think
think the
people looked
others
at this and
they
thought,
bought
good
the
enough?
jockeys. They'd have gone through the jockeys I wanted, you know.
you're suggesting it wouldn't have been Frankie's choice.
No, I think
Frankie rides whatever he's happy to.
Yeah, I'd say the only person who gets a choice would probably be Ryan, you know, because he's...
There's lots said about that, isn't there? We've done that before on this show. We have conflicting
Well, the only jockey that they've
messages.
sent over from Ireland to ride is Wayne Lawden. So
Yeah.
why has he come over to ride? They could easily have stuck a British jockey on him. So they've obviously, maybe they think the
Well,
Mediterranean.
Wayne rode him last time at York, got probably the best effort out of him. Two best runs, really. Longchamp and at York, so he knows him. For me, I think Frankie's on because they know Sir Lucan, the Mediterranean, interpretation probably aren't good enough to win the Ledger if High Definition ever reproduces what he did in the spring.
But
Even the Dante run was still
look
actually a
back
good
at the
run.
Dante now in your members section and your replays. You'll be thinking one horse wants a trip over the other.
Oh,
He's
couldn't
flying
disagree.
behind Hurricane Lane, isn't he?
But you again completely disregarding the Irish Derby where he got hampered, but you shouldn't still be beating 29 lengths.
The York run was a really disappointing one, though, wasn't it?
It's never going. Just looked slow.
The Irish Derby was just absolutely. That was a line
You
through,
can give
tailed
that
off
one,
line
yeah.
through, wasn't it?
The last run's a real concern, isn't it? That he really needs to bounce back, and if there's one person who can do it, it is the genius that's Aidan.
And and Frankie, of course.
Yeah, but you'd be doing it basically on nothing on known form, really. You'd be doing it on the Aidan factor.
Memories of Scorpion, of course, when they teamed up to win this race all those years ago.
Fond memories of Scorpion.
Fond memories.
Yeah, he was a lovable rogue.
Oh, he's
Not for
probably
those that
over
have
the
to ride
jump,
his
so
offspring.
named that as well, aren't they?
Nico would
Okay,
disagree.
isn't it great that we've got the World's Oldest Classic again, and we could just keep talking and keep talking and keep talking about it. Let's get the tips out of the way then. Hurricane Lane to win, but
I've got place market interpretation, and I think might surprise out the Bayador horse just because we haven't seen him over here
that
in
is
the trials.
That is the Ballydoyle Betfair Trade.
Yeah, that's in the place angle and Mojo Star because I think he'll be in the frame as well. But Hurricane Lane going to be hard to beat. 1.87, very solid.
Never be afraid of one horse though, as Emiratiana trainers and fans will tell you. Of course, Starman, we saw him chinned. I could talk to Adam so much about that race last week as well. Did he think he'd been beaten, Andrea? Did he say, I thought I'd...
Well, when I was watching it live, I thought we won. Replay, I thought we would beat.
We thought in here that
Live, I
Starman
thought
might
we
have
won
got
by
it.
maybe a short head. And then...
It turned out to be more than... The photo's quite clear cut.
Because the line also favours this side, so
Yeah.
on the replay, I was getting a bit worried, but... it doesn't matter if it's out or not.
Champagne was
it's,
flowing in the Ryan stable that night. Great stuff. Okay, we like one here, don't we? So Salukan for G as well. I do think he's massively overpriced, but we like Mojo Star. I'm going to call him Mojo Star, not Moho. When you go to South America, it would be pronounced Moho. I think I've got that in my head. I've been a couple of times.
Ross was calling it Moho Star.
Was he?
Last night, yeah.
So there's a bit of a split. There is a bit of a
correct him
split.
as well?
He'd been listening to Dave Orton, had he?
Tom Siegel corrected him.
Did he? Oh, right, okay, all right. Well, all right, we'll take our hats off to that one. So Mojo Star, of course, another horse that has collateral form with the favourite, of course, in the Derby, finished ahead of him.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think back to a galloping track, nice. He looked like he was going to stay all day. I think the trip will be fine for him, obviously by See the Stars. There is one actually at the prices there as well, because I think it is a watch, and find something to chase home the favourite. Use Spirit, back on a conventional track. I think he'll really appreciate the step up in trip.
Of course,
only one bad run. Was in the Derby, but that's Epsom. You can put that away. He's form-tising quite a bit with a
the
long
Great Voltage run would suggest that he's not far off Ottoman Emperor. We'll get to Ottoman Emperor in a
and
second.
I think he will stay. So I think at them prices, I would I'd just chase home the favourite, Mojo Star and Youth Spirit.
Hannon's got a good record in this race, hasn't he? I seem to remember he's like hit the bar a few times, hasn't he?
Never won it, has he?
Never won it. 4 horses, but a couple have gone very close. And what was the horse he said that should have nearly won it? I can't remember.
I think he gets tied down because it's like, obviously a genius with 2-year-old sprinters.
Ventura Storm. I backed him that year. Do you remember SDS got a rush of blood to the head again, and sort of sensed the winning line about half a furlong beforehand. But we think this will stay all day, and the Derby form is proper animal. This, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right, Mojo Star, then we'll call him that for now. All right, okay, do we get some socials up on the screen now? Oh, we've got 5 of them waiting for us. Hurricane Lane, obviously, is Spotlight Verdicts as well. Okay, Sally Plotnick says, my grandma. Good ride, Hurricane Lane. Straightforward stuff, that, then?
Yeah, I think it is going to be pretty straightforward.
Sally, your gran is obviously very agile.
She only stopped riding that a few years ago, so yeah, she'd still be able to.
All right, okay, yeah, okay. Marco T says, gutted if Hurricane lets me down. You get the feeling that some short ones have had bubbles burst, don't you, Marco, this afternoon? Will it be this one? Hopefully not for you. Darren Walker with James then. Interception. Great colours, the Peter Brandt colours, of course. Sotstas colours, the art-winning colours. My bet for the St Leger. Improving horse, every chance here. Yeah, very interesting spot for this, I think, isn't it? We'll be thinking about Breeders' Cup potentially for him. Okay, Nijinsky, who does love a good chat out there, says, I'm doing a tri-cast for a tenner. Hurricane, Mojo and Lucan, just for an interest. Pretty much a panel unanimous decision there then. All right, thank you, Nijinsky. Murph, great to have you on, Murph, says, Ottoman Emperor. Right, great. Before we go to the last one, let's get a line. He has been weak, James, on the market.
Yeah, he's now solid third favourite, 11s on the exchanges. He just keeps on winning, doesn't he, to be fair? Not particularly flashy, not particularly impressive. He got the job done at Goodwood. I just didn't think he'd probably be good enough, and by acceleration, that extra 2.5 furlongs, potential question mark. But yeah, he's solid. Your weak one is the high definition. He's now 16s. Clear number 1 for Bayadora's interpretation. 13.5. So
And Hurricane?
Hurricane, just solid. He's been 1.89. Really
Bigger than he would be on track, though, of course, on the exchange. Are we surprised about that, G? Did we think he was going to be one? I spoke to a couple of bookmakers about this yesterday. They said this will not be a drifter. So the fact he's already drifting. So
Yeah, there's been a few people tell me they think he should be 4-9, and I suppose you could argue that on a form case that could be the case, but his form is, of course, over 1.5 miles, and this is
Was that before the ground last night when that changed?
Yeah,
because that would be the one concern now, wouldn't it? A real mile 6 test on that ground.
His dam did win over 2 miles, though, of course.
Well,
so we're gonna find
when he
out.
won at Longchamp last time out, William Buick got off and said he's getting quicker.
Getting quicker.
Quicker, he's getting faster. So
Good for those stallion adverts, isn't it?
He beat Wordsworth, though, of course, didn't he? And okay, all right. So thank you for that, Murph. Who we've got finally? Paul Bakewell. Good to have you back on, Paul. And says at Racing Post. That's us. If Scope comes close, Giovanni and myself should be invited onto the panel. Giovanni going for that as well. So Scope, in sort of ledger colours, these G, aren't they?
it's the Ralph, isn't it? The Ralph Beckett.
Rafe or Ralph? Rafe.
Oh, you're going to get
call him Ralph.
angry letter.
King Rafe, as Bruce Millington would call him, of course.
It's Rafe, isn't it? He's got quite a good record in the ledger, hasn't he? He's had a few
Beat
decent
Mojo
runners,
Star,
hasn't
of course, on his debut on heavy ground last year. So if you like Mojo Star, I guess, but a lot of water under the bridge since that. Definitely a step back in. I mean, went into had a great voltage rate 95, got an RPR of 111.
he? Yeah, miles off of what's needed, I think.
What is needed? A 118 at least.
I think 120.
You're going to have to. So you're on the assumption that Hurricane Lane runs his rating. Something is going to have to burst that magic.
Yeah, I think
RPR.
you're probably looking around 120, 121. But I think that Sir Lucan could do it because I think he's the best of all of those horses. I'm fairly convinced that he's better than Ottoman Emperor, who beat him at Goodwood.
I thought you gave him too much to do at Goodwood.
Yeah, he was really closing on him late on, but Sir Lucan is starting to become one of those horses who you can make excuses for, all the time.
I'll tell you what, Paul Bateman and Giovanni, if that wins, we will look onto some sort of appearance on RP Live for you. There you go, you have it here. I can see the producers going, hang on. All right, so yeah, listen, great stuff. Thanks for letting us know you are out there. Great stuff. You've got a nap for tomorrow, guys. Maybe get them in. What about the Arc, Tanawa? Or is it just Strength and Snowfall, who turns up tomorrow, of course, in one of the key trials over there at Longchamp? Is it now, once again, a fillies race? Adiyar. What are we making of Adiyar, guys? All gone a bit. He's obviously
We haven't seen him, but
he's not making the trial, is he? So
King George form couldn't have went any better with Miss Reese at York. See what happens today, won't we? What Hurricane Lane?
would you be worried about Adiyar? The fact that he was beaten twice up at the start of the year. He's a big horse, isn't he? After a layoff. Do you think he's a horse that he sort of peaked with racing, Adam, didn't he?
Yeah, but was that physically? Was it mentally? Was it? He's just maturing. I think. He's a Derby winner, and he was very impressive at Ascot. So
This is
There'd
why
be no concern whatsoever.
Me and you would debate this, and we'd try and find angles, wouldn't we? The pundits in here, if you like. And
I would
keep it
personally
simple.
take Hurricane Lane over him if they matched up again. I've been a massive fan of Hurricane Lane from the get-go. But I think you just go back on what he's done in the last 2 runs.
I don't know, 6 to 5 on, it's backable, isn't it?
Yeah, 1.9 now. Just
Yeah,
easing.
that's tempting me in. I've got to be honest. Mojo Star. I'm hoping for. You're shaking your head again. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Listen,
it's
is it
correct,
Moho or
really.
Mojo?
You've ignored the bear. Just not taking his advice on
Oh,
board.
no, you see what happens when we do that. Of course, I think the market's got this right now. The right 2 horses, the Derby form in the St Ledger, we like to see it. I think he's an each way bet to nothing. What is he in the 4-place market, Mojo Star?
4-place market. Let's have a little look. Mojo Star is 1.79 in the 4-place market. The others, Ottoman Emperor 2.18, 2.8 now for high definition, 2.3 interpretation, and your choice, Sir Lucan, 2.86.
Yeah, that would be a bet for you then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that's fair. But what do you make of Snowfall? She's not much good, is she?
Oh, dearie. He's trying to get those social media clicks again, isn't he?
Oh, he doesn't try. Trust me, he doesn't
Snowfall
need to
isn't
try.
much good.
Snowfall isn't much good. Right, okay.
You fool.
Let's do this. Right, Snowfall. What is it? Do you think she's doing a love, just beating inferior fillies? Beating them up left, right and centre?
Yeah, she's obviously, the best filly around, but I don't think that the fillies are that good, and she's beating them up easily. At the start of the season, she wasn't even considered the best filly, anywhere near the best filly at Ballydoyle. Santa Barbara was the one that they thought was an absolute superstar. Yes, she thrashed her, but Santa Barbara went off a lot shorter price to beat her in the Oaks, which suggests to me they thought that Santa Barbara was going to beat her in the Oaks. Then she produces a freak performance in the Oaks, beats up on nothing in the Irish Derby, and similar sort of thing at York. And she runs tomorrow at Longchamp against nothing. and she's going to turn up the arc, she'll get beat.
What price is she at the moment? It's about 2s, isn't she? She's about 2s. James
for
is
the
looking
Arc?
on the sportsbook.
Is this for the Arc?
Yeah, no wonderful tonight now. Adyar, of course, has had a hiccup. Tanawa, are you suggesting that what Kills is saying, Tanawa should be favourite for the Arc?
Oh, yeah, Tanawa, Mishrif. Oh, they're proper horses.
He's not going to go the Arc, though, is he, Mishrif? I know he's a French Derby winner.
What, you think they're
they
gonna
just
run
think a test over a mile 4 is too much for him, don't they?
Why? I mean, he's so strong at the finish over a mile and a quarter. He's really strong at the
Adyar
finish.
just outstayed him, didn't they? That's probably what they're saying. If you listen to John Gosden, he says,
Well,
just stretches him a bit.
Yeah,
What do you mean? Is he a family member? Did you know that they're related, by the way?
Yeah, you two
John
are not
Gosden,
the only
then.
people related to trainers here. You
This
know.
is proper Group 1
this is
time.
proper Group 1 training,
This
yeah.
is elite.
What a panel I'm working with today. And you've quite rightly, his missus is distantly related to the Gosdens we worked out.
Yeah.
So this is going to be John, Tardy, and
And
Graham.
Oh, what a triple partnership. I love it, Adam. Absolutely right. Great stuff. Okay, so you think that John Gosden should listen to his distant cousin and say...
run Mishrif in that, because I also think that long straight at Longchamp, because when Mishrif puts his head down and goes, he really goes, and they don't come back. I mean, you've seen him in France last season. He was really good, wasn't he?
The attacking Egan
That
on
would suit
him.
him. I'm not sure that short straight, it's only two and a half furlongs at Ascot. I'm not sure that's ideal for him. He got beaten that race last year at Ascot. I think that short straight sets it up better for a horse like St Mark's Basilica, who can just come out and use that turn of foot, come down the outside. Mishrif is one of those horses, he puts his head down, then he really goes, but it takes him a while to get going.
All right, you had it there then. Snowfall, not that good. Should be running Mishrif in the Arc, says the Big Bear, Graeme Rodway.
Betting.
Betting,
9-4 Snowfall, 4-1 at AR. Tano are 9-2, which I think is quite a good price.
That
Sevens,
looks like the price, doesn't it?
currently Hurricane Lane, and your Mishrif 12-1.
No problems with the ground for Tanawa either. She's a heavy ground winner, and she's absolutely fine. Well, it'd be really interesting to see what the Master of Rosewell says in his post-race comments after that stewards as well. I'm sure he'd be dignified, Dermot Weld. Let's face it, he's been there and done pretty much everything. But you'd be happy with that, Adam, wouldn't you, going into an Arc?
yeah, and he basically said that all week as well. You know, that's the ultimate goal, and she's run a huge race against a very, very classy animal. So you know, she's going to go there in great order.
All right then. Okay, you've heard it here. A bit of Arc chat as well out there as
A lot
well.
of money for Hurricane now.
Yeah.
I was going to just going there, G. It looks like they're queuing up. aren't they?
1.75, so you were saying 1.9 you thought was value. That has disappeared. He's the clear strong one. Mojo Star is also solid at 10.5. 17's now Ottoman Emperor. He's weak. Interpretation.
Yeah.
That's the clear buy door number 1 at 10s with Holly Doyle.
This would
Nobody
be a
wants-
story, wouldn't it? If Holly could get over the line in a classic
Yeah, it'd be
for
brilliant.
Bally Doyle.
Brilliant. She's
Yeah.
great, isn't she, Holly?
She's nearly going to break the 2 million prize money, isn't she? If she'd have won the Old Newton last week, we were saying on the show, and finished in the top 2 in the Sprint Cup, which didn't happen actually. Noble Masquerade should have nearly won that in hindsight, shouldn't he? But she's going to do it. When you think that Hayley's not even over the million yet,
Yeah, she's broken it already.
has she broken it this
Yeah,
week?
it says 2.039.
There you go. Because everyone's concentrating on the racing. That will be a hot topic next week. Then
She won the
Holly
Mallet, didn't
Doyle.
she, yesterday? That was 27.
She's got no chance in Spotty this year, has she? Bless her, because we've just seen her. We're like Tom Daly in the dark. It's an Olympic year, but this teenage tennis sensation, that's going to be something
See what she does tomorrow.
unbelievable. Is that tonight?
Tonight, 9 o'clock. On Channel 4
Is it-
as well now.
Is it?
Amazon.
They put it on the mainstream.
There you go, because it was on Prime, wasn't it? Basically, I mean, Kills is even. He used to be a bit of a tennis tipster, didn't he? Kills.
Loves tennis.
It's fair to say Emma Raducanu, tricky pronunciation, like Nuit Saint-Georges, but she is going to be an absolute star, isn't she?
Yeah, she's very young, is she? She's about 18.
Yeah, so, not the year to be trying to do a McCoy then and get the Spotty Award. But Holly Doyle, if she takes this, wow, the headline writers for the front page will be absolutely like, oh, here we go, how long we got, you know. All right then, they're going in. Hurricane Lane, one of the last to go in. This is exciting stuff, isn't it? We're going to have some reaction here in the studio, and then, of course, the post-race analysis afterwards. The last race of 8 beauties we've given you here on RP Live this afternoon. What an afternoon we have had. Great to have you along for the final classic of the British season. And away we go. Scope a little bit squeezed out at the beginning. looking for the white hat, some Mediterranean, who thought might have been a pace angle. He wasn't great
Holly.
away either. Surprise, surprise, guys. It's Frankie up the front and Holly as well. Now, do you remember when she had her first ride in the Dante for Ballydor? She went off far too hard, didn't she, on a horse? They've told her, get out, make it a test, James.
Yeah, well, she started at York, and interpretations are front runner 12.5. Hurricane Lane, they're happy, 1.69 in about 6th place.
Yeah, Mojo Star, Adam, our pick. He wants a share of the lead as well. You thought this would stay all day. Hannon and Ross Ryan agree.
It looks like it, doesn't it? Very positive. And I think to be fair, they just got a decent gallop, and they're going to try and see if the favourite stays.
Last year's winning connections for the now departed Galileo Chrome, of course. Fernando Vici, one of the outsiders. Oisin Murphy takes the ride. He's in 4th. High Definition's got a lovely sit. G, what about the favourite in 6th?
Yeah, he's in a nice position. I think they're going a nice, steady, even pace, aren't they? Not too slow, not too quick. Should be fine for those who are coming from off the pace, but you won't be compromised if you're up front either.
Are we surprised, James, that Ottoman Emperor anchored right out the back? He's a horse that has liked to get on with it in his races before.
Yeah, the market doesn't particularly like it. 18.5 at the back of the field. Interpretations 13s. High Definition, the market like his position. He's 12.5, having gone off.
It's
at
the box
23s.
seat, isn't it? Yeah,
Perfect
it's the
seat
box
for
seat.
a
Frankie
stayer.
then, we'll find out. Scope right out the back. Youth Spirit out the back as well. Tom Marquand going for the big St Ledger double, of course. Salukan G, he's got a nice enough spot,
Yeah,
hasn't
he's
he?
all right, just behind the favourite. So just checking Hurricane Lane. Hopefully he'll be able to come and do in late, but we'll see.
All right, Adam Ryan, if you had to be with one now away from the Fav, or is it just all about the lane?
I think Ross Ryan.
Ross Ryan on
Yeah,
Mojo Star.
I think with the thinking that he's going to stay all day, I think I'd probably side with him at the minute. But obviously Williams going well at the same time. There's a long way to go.
They get racing a long way out on the town moor, don't they? And this
do,
home
yeah.
straight, it's proper testing. I remember when Snow Fairy came there looking like absolutely she's going to win, fell in a hole. Now we're getting serious. Then they don't want to know the far road. It's still Holly Doyle.
Yeah.
Here comes Mojo Star. Then Hurricane Lane warming up. James
Yeah,
Millman.
it's going well.
He's off the Prado Hurricane High Definition out to
Ross
118.
Ryan's going best here.
Okay, Ross Rice, I'll tell you what, absolutely. Yeah, High Definition, he's a bit lazy. Now here comes the Fab. It's the two old rivals. Interpretation still there as well. Youth Spirit going to come and have a crack. Now he says go on Mojo Star, but here comes the
comes the
Hurricanes. The lightning turn of foot that we're about to see. Is he about to blow him away? This is great Derby form
William.
coming to the fore. Ottoman Emperor, he's just hasn't got home at all, has he? Youth Spirit Interpretation. Now the Fab goes on. Whoosh! For the first time here, unbelievable scenes here on RP Live. The Fav is going to serve up a real treat. Mojo Star's on an absolute blinder. The Mediterranean looking all over a couple for next year. He's going to get 3rd. Is Interpretation going to get 4th? Yes, he is, just from Youth Spirit, and Scope running on late as well. Wasn't that an absolute treat? What we were hoping to see. Godolphin, what a year in the middle distance department they are having. James Millman, when did the market know?
The whole race. 1.96 was the biggest he ever traded in a run-in. So, there was no concerns for Hurricane Lane. Mojo Star was always in the right place, but he didn't particularly go that short. I think they always knew he was probably covered. 3.65, so he shortened a bit.
William
Market.
Buick was very keen, G, not to let him get away, wasn't he, his old rival?
Yeah, a special performance by the winner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a real Group 1, stamped his authority on it and won easily.
Where are we going to go with this chat? Do you think if Adyar doesn't make the arc that we could see a defection?
Arc.
100%.
For me, I think he near enough wins it. I love this horse.
There you go. He's been to France, of course, at Longshop. He's won over the course.
And he's got
of
that
distance.
injection of pace which you need.
I love that. Adam Ryan thinks he might have seen the arc winner, not just Tanawa. Okay, so Snowfall's got a lot to prove all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's a hot arc if he goes for it, isn't it, as well? And we've seen a few St Ledger horses go on and try. Not many have done it, though, have they?
Yeah.
So it'd be cracking if
Do you
he
think they could run the pair of them, Adyar
I think
and
they
Hurricane
will.
Lane?
I don't know what they got to lose.
Did it in the
really.
Derby, didn't they?
With him in the Derby, he lost both front shoes, which around Epsom must have been particularly inconvenient. So
We've got the Breeders' Cup to think about as well, guys, haven't we? And they love going to that race, don't they, of course, with their top,
they do,
mile
but
3, mile 4 horse.
Arc trumps Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
They're not going to. It'll be an afterthought, and if one of them's still fresh and well, they'll go. But that's the best St Ledger performance I've seen in recent years for sure.
Lovely moment this for William Buick as well. He's had a couple of really bad injuries, hasn't he? There was if you spoke to the jockeys 5 or 6 years ago, if you ever saw William on a hold-up horse around a tight track, they knew what they were doing. The other jockeys, he was having to think about it. A lot of people didn't like him on a hold-up horse, that sort of thing. Now he can just go on anything. This is part of a golden era of jockeys, I think, G, isn't it? Oshie Murphy, definitely top of that tree at the minute, no doubt. The numbers don't lie. William had that 11-day ban, though. That was some head, wasn't it, on that? Tactically, I know he was on the horse that had to win, but he never let Mojo Star get away.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
I don't really think...
I was looking for a nice journalistic crescendo there.
I don't think it is a golden era of jockeys.
You don't?
No.
You're always
Not
looking at the rose-tinted spectacles. Your younger days, Graeme.
Not
Yeah.
when you go back to the likes of, the Piggott.
I think we
and
went
the
through a bit of a
Edery
sticky period, and that's why the likes of some of these older jockeys are still hanging around. But I think some of these younger jockeys, let's not even go there with the females.
I think they're good. I think that they're good jockeys, but I don't think they're great.
The top 5 jockeys. This could be a social debate all over, Adam, couldn't it? Am I right there?
I think the depth of jockeys is a lot better now, because you said you can name maybe 2 in each era. I think we've got 2 or 3 greats, and then we've got seriously talented jockeys north and south.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
yeah,
Dettori
quite right.
is great. Rest of them.
Oh, come on, Oshin's.
I love Oshie. He's great, but I don't think he's a great. Not yet, anyway.
I think he's. Listen, this is what we want to see with our jockeys. The depth is the right thing. James, am I mad to say that?
Yeah, there is coming through, but then I suppose the fact that John Gosden's still using Frankie and no one has surpassed him in John Gosden's eyes. He picks and chooses when he rides, but he's still getting the job done. Godolphin have got 2 fantastic jockeys, which they can split between the pair. And I think probably this means a lot for William, because he missed a Derby winner.
Exactly.
Both of them did, letting Adam Kirby get at AR. And William, probably it came so quickly, got a big job. And now in the last probably 3 or 4 years, he's matured into that job. And probably coincided with Charlie Appleby having so many good horses as well, so it's the perfect timing.
Yeah, and like I say, the girls as well. Rossa Ryan was second there. Won't be long until Rossa gets a classic. I'm absolutely sure of that. What a top jockey he is. Okay, that's all we've got time for then here on this RP Live. And what a sizzling Saturday it proved to be. Right from the very first race in the Matron Stakes, of course. We saw Mother Earth, a painful defeat, I suppose. She'll bounce back, won't she? But St Mark's Basilica, he didn't disappoint, guys. Champion Stakes now. Wins.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that we saw 2 really good horses, didn't we? Hurricane Lane and St Mark's Basilica, and possibly Tanara as well.
Yeah.
It's been a great afternoon, hasn't it? And be sure to watch tomorrow, because there's some stars on show again, aren't there?
Yeah, none more so than Glass Slippers. Adam Ryan, your debut on Race Bows Live. This won't be the last time we see you, hopefully. It's offensive to the Bears there, of course.
It's been great, and some great racing has unfolded, so I really enjoyed it.
No, you've given us absolutely. He tells us how he thinks it goes. James Millman, trading for Betfair, done sterling job,
Yeah,
mate.
Betfair Barry today. Cracking show, wasn't it? Champion Stakes, it was just a fantastic race. The Champagne Stakes, the 2-year-olds, Bayside Boy, I do like him for the future. And Tarnow, I think, will be all right winner myself.
Wow, okay, you heard it here then. So we've got time for you on RP Live. We'll see you next Saturday. It's the Air Gold Cup. Ooh, cannot wait for that.